Um, the playing music, yeah, it's so good. Whatever. Starts in 2 minutes. This guy's fucking loving it, dude. I don't know what it is about DJs and their fucking music though. They love it, mate. Is it actually Hodor? Is it something where like even if they're not fucking off their head, they just roleplay that they're off their head? Is that a DJ thing? You know, they can really feel the music, they can see it and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's an actual DJ? What the fuck? To be honest, I'm not sure I'm a fan of the music, but he looks so weird as a DJ. Dude, he didn't have all these tattoos. Where did they come from? Did he always have these tattoos? They just hid them in Game of Thrones? Rave of Thrones? Nice one, dude. Yeah, dude, get him into the casino, boys. We'll have a DJ there all night. For reals. There's actually been a few people from like musical type backgrounds, like rappers and shit, that have reached out to try and jump into NoPixel. I'm still scared about it though. Like, I feel like if I let people in, I need them to sign a contract if they got to do music in here. So that way, if they play some shit, they can't like a year later be like, okay, I'm gonna DMCA that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's. I think it's a good play to not really let them in a way, without a contract or something. How come there was 2 different start numbers, dude? BlizzConline. That's actually really good. Well done. I can listen to 30 seconds of music, so we're good. I canceled it, boys.
That feeling of just knowing a game is right for you when you first lay eyes on it is such a great feeling.
The thing that happens is you start to feel the excitement just build up.
I'm thinking about it all the time, even in my sleep.
Incluso a veces por una misma comunidad. Te llegas a enamorar bastantísimo.
Have you guys ever played a game so much that you actually have dreams about it? Is that a thing that's like something y'all have done too?
I guess video games allow me to be what I can't. It's fiction, but it's not.
And come home, log onto your PC, and disappear into a different world.
So the way I think it works for me is if I get to a point where I'm tired, right? Like, so, you know, it's 8 p.m. I've been playing for 12 hours straight. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty tired. But then all of a sudden you chill, you keep playing, then it's 2 a.m. Okay. You've been playing this game for 16 hours straight. It's fucking, well, 18 hours. It's 2 a.m. You've clearly not slept at the right time. And you go to bed and your brain is just thinking about that shit. Then you fucking have fucking half nightmares of you dying or fucking dreams of you finding the right item. It's such a restless sleep, dude.
Probably never would have.
It's like you're half awake and asleep at the same time.
I met some of my best friends through playing games.
We have this connection that
I didn't have
allows
friends.
us to share our joys, to share our achievements, and to share our growth together.
Every time I'm able to achieve something, I'm able to make myself proud.
Killing heroic Blackhand back in Warlords of Draenor was one of my favorite memories.
I managed to find that one hidden pylon with my one Mutalisk,
We beat hardcore Inferno Diablo.
I was able to hit gold in competitive in Overwatch.
I had someone say, oh, I can't lose to a girl. And I beat that guy.
So I was able to slay this warlock as a little gnome holy priest, freaking out and screaming the whole time.
Adrenaline through my body was going crazy.
Pela caminhada ter sido tão prazerosa.
Can we just get rid of the let me turn up the bandwidth so you get like a higher quality.
I killed the Lich King! I killed the Lich King!
然后夺冠的时候，现场的女性工作
Should we
人
say
员，包
full
括
screen chat?
男的工作人员，他们都哭了。
Many years ago, I was doing a quest in Terracar Forest, and a lovely little mage came up and said, "Would you like a hand?" They helped me for the rest of the day. We've been married now for over a decade.
Those video games filled a void. They filled the friendships that I didn't have. There isn't a huge LGBTQIA+ community in my city. So when I was able to
I had a bad time when Halo first came out. Played for 12 hours straight. Couldn't fall asleep because of flashes of the flood and others trying to get me. Yeah, dude.
When I was a teenager, my dad was diagnosed
That's just wild.
with ALS, and I looked to video games as a way to escape from that sort of reality. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm just glad video games were there for me.
I'll never stop playing video games.
There's no way.
I imagine myself one day being an 80-year-old grandpa gamer.
Playing video games has shaped me. I don't think I would be who I am today.
My passion, my interest, my excitement, they belong.
Video games opened from
Diablo 4 this year? No way, dude. There's no way that's anywhere near ready.
Can't wait to see what the next
Absolutely no way, brother, man. I'm interested to see what it looks like, though, but I hope you're ready for disappointment if you're a D2 player. I mean, Diablo 4 is definitely going to be based off Diablo 3 engine, so the engine works there, man. That's just like the rewrite of the systems, I think. Diablo 4 looks much like D2 than D3. Oh, no, not much. It might look like it more, but it still has...
A celebration of 30 years
We'll see.
of Blizzard communities and 30 years of Blizzard games. 30 years is so many years. And last year maybe felt like one of the longest of all. But throughout the years of Blizzard Entertainment, from 1991 to today, many of us can associate certain games with milestones in our lives. Maybe you were a little kid the first time you played The Lost Vikings. Or in high school,
I never played
a Diablo game.
Yeah.
Or maybe
That's
you met
me.
your partner while you were playing World of Warcraft. That's the awesome thing about video games. They give us experiences that are relevant to the times in our lives and experiences that we carry forward with us. Games are here for us.
Imagine if video gaming didn't exist, dudes. We'd all have to go to the movies every weekend, man. Be like the boomers.
Games are coming home.
Holy shit, we'd have to go outside and shit and be healthier and stuff.
And a sense of belonging. And while many of us spent most of 2020 in our actual real
fucking
life
disco,
homes, games became
skating,
even more of a place to get away, to be free from outside.
go to the roller rink,
even if
rink,
just for a little while.
Rink.
So this is pretty weird. Usually, when we start BlizzCon, the opening call is to my favorite Warcraft faction, the Alliance. Or my favorite faction, the Horde. I get confused. Usually, I'd be speaking to 40,000 of you in person at the Anaheim Convention Center and millions of you around the world. And usually,
somebody's watching.
That would be a perfect way to celebrate. But nothing about the last year has been usual.
There's about probably 1.2K. I guess half these people are.
On everyone.
Yeah.
And for many different reasons. But if there's one thing that the last year has taught us, it's that being apart physically doesn't stop us from moving forward.
No, it's taught me not to eat fucking
it doesn't
bats.
Stop us from connecting with our player friends around the world, diving in as warriors and heroes, and checking on each other as humans. it doesn't stop us from sharing our latest epic gaming story or celebrating those of others.
That's a fucking creepy as fuck. What? Whoever thought to catch a bat and eat it in the first place is a crazy motherfucker, chat.
Now,
like they even look scary.
I wasn't sure how well Blizzard could work from home. There are thousands of people, all needing to work together in creating our universes, games, and experiences. Never has it felt more true that it takes a Blizzard to make a Blizzard game. And in 2020, it became clear that the magic of creating a Blizzard isn't just tied to a physical location. It's tied to the people who work here, and I continue to be so proud of each and every one of them.
It'll be interesting to see how much they have done this year with how fucked up the world was.
We create these games and pour all of our energy.
I really feel like when it comes to like all the
Blizzard community,
if I was at home working, I feel like I'd be just as good at what I was doing, if not better. You know, wake up, you don't need to shower or anything. Just sit down and start coding, dude.
Tanks, innkeepers, Zerg, Terran, Protoss, Blackwatch, Shimada, the heroes of Sanctuary and of the Storm. These next few days are for you, our Blizzard community. For World of Warcraft, we'll be showing you what's next for both Shadowlands and Classic. I'm sure you're all burning in anticipation for that one. Hearthstone is getting back to its roots.
These guys don't shower? True. Neither do I, though, really. The only reason I shower is because like someone's coming over, or I'm just like, bro, I haven't showered in like a week. I probably should shower.
Some of you
can when you feel the smell,
your toes
you know what I mean?
Into the depths of hell in the Diablo Immortal Technical Alpha. I really enjoyed seeing players embrace the multiplayer aspect of meeting in town. We can't wait for more of you to get your hands on it. So, it's only the beginning of the year, and already there is so much to look forward to, even though we can't yet be together in person.
How are they gonna open with that shit?
We'll be kicking things off in spring, and we'll be watching closely to see if the San Francisco Shock.
Hey, at least the crowd isn't there to just not cheer at them.
World of Warcraft esports is back with the Arena World Championship and Mythic Dungeon International.
The longer humans use language, the less articulate they become. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3
I think if the mass talks lazily, then why should you try and talk better than that?
And qualifiers are
you got to relate to somebody that you relate to. That's just logical.
Of the 2021 Hearthstone Masters Tour, with the first event taking place next month. But before we get too far ahead, let's take a look one last time to when times were a little simpler.
Efficiency, yeah, bro.
In the early 1990s, the internet was a baby.
What? Did you call me?
Had finally eclipsed cassette tapes. Cassette tape, it's a rectangle piece of
Dude,
plastic.
we are fucking boomers, chat. If this is like,
music would get recorded on,
if this is hitting you, you're a fucking boomer. You're a modern day boomer.
I know, it sounds crazy. We were all playing video games on Super Nintendo.
I remember I had cassette tapes and I'd get bored and put my finger in it and spin it around till it broke and then rip all the shit out of it.
Config sys and auto exec bat. So many simple things in simple times. If only we could relive them.
Uh-oh. It's happening. It's gonna be Diablo 2 remake. I can feel it in my dick.
The green flag drops. Let the carnage begin.
Never mind.
Holy Toledo! What a collection.
We're talking about the 90s. Yo, can we put these on the games on in GTA on our little arcade things?
What a play! Crank up the volume! Unbelievable!
Honestly, I've never seen these games in my life. I guess I was playing like Lemmings or something. Did that not say PC?
The Blizzard Arcade Collection, featuring the Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn. These
Why did
are ports
wait,
of
did
the
that say
games,
mobile phone as
just
well?
as you remember them, allowing you to relive the original experience of all three titles in 13 different languages, with a couple of quality of life upgrades. As an example, we include very modern, cutting-edge functionality that wasn't available in the early 90s, both saving and loading of games. And for those of you who purchased any Blizzard Digital Anniversary Bundle via Battle.net, you'll automatically receive the Blizzard Arcade Collection on PC today. Now, you ready to hear about some other video games? Let's hear what's next for World of Warcraft.
Oh, come on, give me a 15-hour video. That guy's creepy as shit.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. No matter where you are, World of Warcraft unites us all. Whether you're exploring the Shadowlands, Classic Azeroth, or another part of the Blizzard universe, I'm glad you could make it, because we've got a lot of good stuff to show you. But first, let's start with some Covenant pride. Kyrian, take flight.
Oh shit, I'm sort of...
Night Fae, let the hunt begin. Necrolords, to war! Vinthir, let's party. The world has thrown a lot at us since the last BlizzCon. And the thing that's really kept everyone going on the WoW team has been connecting with all of you. The bonds we forge with our guilds and family and friends in WoW are powerful and real. As WoW enters its 16th year and Blizzard celebrates its 30th anniversary, we're so grateful to have the most dedicated and friendly communities in gaming. Let's recap the events in Azeroth. In WoW Classic, we fought an endless battle for South Shore and Tauren Mill. We banded together to open the gates of Ahn'Qiraj and joined forces to take down Kel'Thuzad in his floating citadel of Naxxramas. In Shadowlands, we helped our Covenant recover from the Anima drought, brought on by Sire Denathrius, master of the Vinthir and traitor to the Pantheon of Death. We survived the halls of Torghast and crafted legendary gear in our efforts to expel Denathrius from his castle lair. But innocent souls are still wrongfully being sent to the Maw. They face an eternity of torment, and heroes like Anduin remain chained in its depths. The jailer continues to grow in power. He's preparing to break free from the Maw and complete his plan to unmake the entire Warcraft universe. And Sylvanas, you may be wondering what she's been up to all this time. Today, we're excited to unveil our first major content update for Shadowlands, Chains of Domination.
Look around you! What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough! Join our cause, or be made to serve.
Right now, you hold all the power. Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
Dude.
Despite all our efforts,
Why don't they just unnerf rogues so the rogues can kill Sylvanas?
What if Denathrius' treachery is irreparable?
Just one-shot her, dude, but the one-shot back
is
her.
lost, and Bastion cannot save the Shadowlands alone.
None of this should have happened.
Perhaps the Winter Queen could.
My Archon,
A living soul seeks an audience.
A mortal?
A king. By
Not
all
my
our
king.
measures, one
Fake
who
king.
has spent his life striving for justice. One who would give anything to serve his people. One whose heart is true.
Very well. He may approach. Step forward.
I can't believe they added the Smurfs to WoW. It's so cool. I love Smurfs.
My Ascended have spoken of you. The king held captive in the mall.
That prison could not hold me forever.
Why have you come to Bastion?
You have a key that I need.
You will release this soul from your grasp.
No. He is bound to me.
Just as you once sought to bind your own brother.
Uh-oh. I don't know what just happened.
The vessel performed its part flawlessly. 3 keys remain. Then they will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
Woo, yeah! Woo, 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 woo. I'm trying to give you the authentic. Whoa, yeah!
So intense. I know you probably have a lot of questions about what you just saw. And what
I'm trying to give you the intense Blizzard BlizzCon reactions.
Later today, my teammates Ian and Jeremy will be telling you more about Chains of Domination in our Shadowlands update. Please check out the World of Warcraft channel to find out more.
Oh.
Next, I'm excited to share our upcoming World of Warcraft charity pet program. We've heard a lot from our community about how much they love these pets and the opportunity to give to a good cause, along with ideas to make the program even better. So during this upcoming campaign, you'll be able to donate whatever amount you wish to directly support our chosen charity. Once donations reach our goal, everyone playing World of Warcraft will get a pet for their collection.
Listen, I just want a 4-legged Murloc as a fucking mount that runs around going.
And to make this a fun challenge, if we reach a stretch goal, everyone gets a second pet too. And here they are. The first pet is Bananas. Literally. He was originally available to a select few back in Burning Crusade era, so we're excited to give everyone a chance to adopt him. And if we reach our stretch goal, you'll also get Daisy the Sloth.
Oh!
She's an all-new pet who'll hang around
I
get
gotta get this!
Your donations during this campaign.
They knew it! They knew it! They knew I was gonna watch it!
Medical humanitarian organization Doctors Without Borders, also known by their French name Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF. They're an amazing group doing important work around the world.
Actually,
We're
a cool
grateful to have
pet.
such a generous community, and we hope you'll help support this worthy cause. We'll be sharing the details about the charity pet program on the World of Warcraft website.
I'm buying that shit. We're having a sloth pet for sure, boys.
Talked quite a bit
Oh
about
my god.
Shadowlands.
Yo,
Classic
Disobey,
players,
thanks for the 4.
now
White
it's
Boy,
your
thanks for the
turn.
8. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to hand off to my teammate, Holly Longdale. She's a long-time
Honestly,
WoW player,
that was the
veteran
best
MMO
thing I've ever
developer,
heard at a
and she's gonna
BlizzCon.
tell
A
us
fucking
what's in
sloth pet.
store our WoW Classic.
Please tell me it somehow goes over to Diablo games too. Uh-oh. That's got to be BC for sure, right? Man, that looks scary.
First,
like
I'd
Slender
like to
Man
thank
shit.
all of you who have ever been part of the WoW community over the years. You know, online worlds like WoW have been a huge part of our lives for decades now. As a dedicated MMO fan and a developer myself, I remember hearing that Blizzard was going to be making their own MMO. And I thought, well, I guess I'll check out that beta. And sure, we all call the game WoW, but really, wow. I could not believe I got bit by the MMO bug again. I was so excited to be able to make a night elf hunter and be like that famous dark elf ranger from the books that I loved. I have to tell you, Azeroth was, and still is, a place I love to
Bubba
live.
Jack, what's wrong, buddy?
Since last year, I've had the great honor to work alongside the WoW Classic team to bring these nostalgic experiences back to life for longtime fans and a whole new generation of players. As a fan myself, I've had
This is all pre-recorded for sure, dude.
from the simple things like
It has to be
drive-by
pre-recorded,
buffing
right?
or making friends on that long haul from Teldrassil to Ironforge, all the way to the absolutely staggering, like when I jumped blindly through the dark portal and
She
was
does look
running
tall,
through
yeah.
Hellfire Peninsula.
It looks
heard
like her
this
legs are like
terrifying
really
noise,
long though.
and
I
then
think it's the
saw
heels.
The Fell Reaver,
Like they're really tall
biggest
heels.
roamer I had ever seen, and I was very glad I had feigned death in that moment. And that's the thing about WoW. These stories and experiences we all share keep us
Yeah, those
coming
boots
back
looking like they're at least 1
after
foot.
time. With that said, I'm super excited to be able to share with you where our adventures are taking us next.
How do I get the sloth pet? I just want that. Oh, it's happening, chat. See, these are the feels. I actually missed the first few weeks of BC.
You dare enter my realm.
Oh, shit. I think I want to play BC. I just wonder what they're going to do about 2v2 arena and 3-hour druid warlock games.
Your foolishness has brought you to this end. Take my blood and choke on it.
Death to the outsiders!
I'll turn your world upside down.
You are not prepared.
I think I'm like level 20 in Classic.
Brings back so many memories, right? Like exploring the
You were
fungal
not
forests of
peppered.
Zangarmarsh, or being awestruck at the chaotic magic alive in Netherstorm, the Draenei in Exodar, the Blood Elves in Silvermoon. I love playing them both. Do you choose to enlist the Aldor or the Scryers in your
Hopefully
quest
they
to
give
fight
us a
the
free
Legion?
level 60
And of
boost.
course, we
You think
can't
they're going to
forget
do that for this?
gathering all your friends
I
to
doubt they
fight
will, right?
Illidan at the top of the Black
Maybe they
Temple.
will though.
I can't wait to relive it all with you. Since the
Dude,
team
honestly-
first set out on their own quest to bring the original
I went away for work for a few months because as Burning Crusade come out, I quote unquote paid somebody that was legitimate to level my warlock for me. Then I grinded out Gladiator on it, and then I got banned for trolling. I trolled. I can't remember what I did, but I got banned.
To bring back the same
And then
feeling
my
you
warlock's
had
gone forever.
when you faced the Fell Reaver for
It was
the
depressing.
first time, or when you were digging through piles of Fellhound poop. Of course, we can't get this right without you, our incredible community. Soon, you'll be able to revisit Outland yourself.
I thought it was so
when
cool,
beta
dude.
starts, and tell us what you think.
I had my,
Later,
it was the
all
season
WoW
two,
Classic
season 2, I
players are
think,
going to be
the one with the
presented with a
orange
meaningful choice for
lining
each
on. I think that was
one
season
of
2
your
or season
beloved
3. I don't know.
characters.
I can't
You
remember
want
what
to
I
move
ended up
on
getting
into
banned
Burning
for, but
Crusade
I was on my
Classic?
last warning from getting
Or
power leveled.
Do you want to stay
Because I got banned
in
for
the
that, and then I was like, oh
original
yeah,
classic era
I
forever?
swear I won't do that again.
Whatever you
And then
decide,
you know what it
can do
was?
all with your one WoW.
You know what I did, chat? There was this script you could get that could make you float in the air, and I was doing the casino at the front of the auction house, and I floated up in the air and dropped myself just because I was bored. Like, I wasn't abusing anything, and then there was an invisible GM there, and I got fucking perm banned. That's what happened. It was like near the end of BC. And there's no way you get your account back for that sort of shit.
Greetings. We're truly excited to share with you
Next.
everything that's coming to Hearthstone this year. But first, let's take a quick look back at the year of the Phoenix. We added our first new class.
That is what happened.
the
But
Demon
then
Hunter,
after that, okay,
convinced into the
Wrath of the
ruthless
Lich King comes round.
Then
I get
we
a
went to
warlock
Skylands
that
Academy
clears like
and got to
Nax
explore
gets realm
dual
first
class
and shit
cards
like
and
that.
that
How did I say
powerful
warrior? Because I was
And
the
with our
main
third
tank.
expansion of the year,
And
we
then
brought Hearthstone's
what did I
biggest
do?
update ever, alongside the menacing old
I think I like
in
traded my
Madness
accounts or
at
some
the
shit
Dark
like
Moon
that,
Fair.
or sold them or some
We
shit.
also
I don't know. I
brand new
did
game,
something
Duel.
weird, and then all my
We saw
accounts
more
got
than
locked, and
10
the only
million
one that
matches on
survived
its first
was my
day.
shaman that I still have
We also
today,
introduced our
which is the
long-awaited achievement
Grand Marshal.
and made a significant overhaul to the
It was
rewards
my
and progression
only
of the game.
living one left.
Now, it's time to say farewell to the year of the Phoenix and see what's in store.
And the weird thing
for
is, I
Hearthstone
think that was the
this
one
year.
that I was trading with,
Welcome
but
to
I
the year
transferred it to a different
of the
account,
Griffin.
so it didn't get fucked.
Over the last couple of years,
Sounds like I was a
we've
cunt.
made big
Not
changes.
really.
Throughout the
I
year of the
mean,
Griffin,
I wasn't doing
we want
anything to
keep
fuck with
delivering
people.
Fun, new experiences. And
I was
make
just an
sure
idiot.
that the tens of millions of you playing Hearthstone are always excited to log in. First up, we'll be giving the standard format its biggest shakeup ever, with the launch of the core set. Later
I wish
this
we
year.
could fast forward, boys.
The core set replaces the old basic and classic sets with a collection of 200.
I had a warrior deck when I first
made up of some of
played
the best
with this
throughout
shit.
the years,
I was actually really
as well
high
as
ranked from memory.
29 awesome brand new cards. And the best thing about the core set is that it's entirely
But the warrior
free.
set that I had was like
So,
really cheesy. You
there's
just
never
like
been a
fucking
better time to
survive
get into
forever, and then all
Hearthstone.
of a sudden one shot
Here are
everybody.
3 of Hearthstone's legendary dragons.
Oh, you want me to be
reimagined
quiet so you can
feel more
listen?
up-to-date
Sorry, dude.
And competitive for modern day Hearthstone. Ysera the Dreamer.
No, I
will
was
finally
close
receive
to
her full
legendary,
arsenal of
whatever
Dream
the gold thing
right
is.
away.
I'm pretty sure I
She's a
hit
nightmare
rank
for your
the rank 1 or whatever it is a few times, but I never
Malados
got
the
above it.
Spellweaver. He'll fill your hand with spells.
But that's in Australia,
He's
I
a
think. Oh, maybe it
powerful
was in
late-game
Australia
player,
only. Because it was
worthy
Hearthstone. You don't need
of
ping
the
for that.
aspect of magic. And finally, everyone's favorite black dragon, Deathwing. He's still as destructive as ever, but timed correctly, he won't leave you empty-handed.
What?
We'll also be launching a brand new format, Classic, where you can play Hearthstone as
Can you
it
see the
was
BlizzCon
when
chat?
it first launched. The Classic format will be fully supported, complete with ranks and rewards using Hearthstone's original set of cards. So, if you want to relive the old school experience, then Classic is the place for you. With Classic revisiting the past, now let's take a look to the future and explore the first expansion of the year of the Griffin.
For a hero of the Horde, all roads lead to the crossroads. You have come for adventure. But the Barons want...
Yo, Dan, thank you for the tier 1 and 42. What up, baby? Thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Appreciate it, man.
Must be sharp.
Poggers.
Your wits must be keen, and your heart must be mighty.
Oh yeah.
Strength and honor. This is who we are.
That's right. We're headed to one of Warcraft's most iconic locales, the Barrens. And we'll come face to face with the heroes that inhabit it. Starting with one of the Horde's most iconic and well-known characters, a fierce loyalist, one-time war chief that embodies
the fact that Diablo hasn't come up yet. I think they're gonna show some cool shit, dude.
The Horde. Shadowhunter Vol'jin.
Like, wouldn't they save the cool shit till the end?
Shadowhunter Vol'jin is a neutral legend.
Surely, right?
That allows you to either bolster your own board or weaken that of your opponents. And to celebrate the announcement of Forged in the Barrens, this card is available for free for everyone later today. So log into Hearthstone and claim your free copy of Shadowhunter Vol'jin. And as a bonus,
how are the raids going, Glenn? Are you still raiding with the same
30 years of
NoPixel dudes?
Next, we have another hero of the Horde who is making his first appearance in Hearthstone. The legendary Blade Master, Samuro, featuring the new keyword, Frenzy. Frenzy activates the first time a minion takes damage and survives. In Samuro's case, this can be used to clear your opponent's board.
What the
Heroes
fuck?
of the Horde, like Samuro, are famous for their combat prowess. But others, like Thrall, are known for their powerful elemental magic. Take a look at this new shaman spell, Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is a spell in a new cycle of cards that rank up and become more powerful when you have 5.
So they talked about mobile Diablo earlier at the start, and it was like 3 seconds, and they just sort of swept it under the rug.
Every stage in the
and they didn't label it like, oh, and this is what's happening in Diablo. So I feel like Diablo is going to be the big one.
With Forged in the Barrens,
I'm thinking like a remaster and you know, a lot of updates with D4. I still think D4 is next year though, at minimum.
And don't worry, members of the Alliance will be featuring some of your most beloved heroes and locales later this year. But what I love most about the Warcraft universe is its amazing characters. And our final announcement is our most ambitious addition to Hearthstone yet. It introduces a brand new way to play with your favorite heroes.
Mobile!
Hearthstone Mercenaries. Mercenaries features strategic RPG gameplay, where you build teams consisting of some of the most iconic heroes and villains from the Warcraft universe, including timeless characters like the infamous Sylvanas.
BC is in 2021, so I don't think I'd say at the end of the year. That's usually when they do big drops, right?
Some of Hearthstone's fan favorites, like the unstoppable.
And there's not a new expansion this year for normal WoW, so I'd say like October-ish, 6 months.
You'll lead them in battle through highly replayable roguelike missions, where the map is randomly generated every time you play, and each node represents a unique challenge for your team to take on. Your heroes gain levels, new abilities, equipment, and can even evolve into more powerful versions of themselves.
This guy actually has a neck beard.
We're thrilled to finally show you Hearthstone.
That's impressive.
It is scheduled to launch later this year, and we'll have more to share with you down the road. Everything you've seen today is just a taste of what's coming in the Year of the Griffin. So don't forget to tune in to our deep dive panel after the opening ceremony, where we'll share more
Wait, it was a roguelike? Is that what it said? I wasn't really paying attention.
Format, Forged in the Barrens, and our plans for Battlegrounds and Duels, as well as our upcoming single-player content. I want to thank the team for their amazing work. And on behalf of all of us at Hearthstone, we want to thank the many millions of you who play our game. Your dedication and support is what drives us to make awesome updates
and pursue ambitious and fun ideas. We can't wait to kick off the Year of the Griffin with all of you, and we hope to see you in the game soon. Next up, you'll get an update on all things Diablo.
Oh, here we go, boys. Honestly, the D4 trailer was really good, though.
Hey, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. I am so excited to kick off the Diablo segment of our show, and I am honored to be here on behalf of all of our Diablo teams to share the news and updates we have in store for you today. We've got a lot of Diablo to cover, and I hope you'll agree with me that it's a great time to be a member of this
say vegan on his arm?
All right, let's kick things off with Diablo 4. We first shared our game with you during BlizzCon.
Hold up, he said let's start things off with Diablo 4. There's 100% D2 remastered. There's no way this guy's going to talk about Diablo Immortal like we give a shit.
And valuable feedback you've provided as we unveil more
he said let's start off, boys.
Share in its development. After all, Diablo belongs to you.
Yeah, but they talked about Diablo Immortal at the start. Why would they talk about it again?
We teased an update to our campfire screen. And savvy fans, of course, understood that we meant more than just the character lighting and fire visual effects. That's right.
Listen, there's no way they will end with Diablo fucking Immortal. There's no way they're going to end with that.
This dangerous journey.
They're not that stupid.
A class is one of the
There's 100% Diablo 2 Classic. Remastered, sorry. It's 100%, dude.
Especially exciting to me, as it's a re-envisioning of one of the first classes to ever appear in the series. Let's have a look.
There's still Overwatch. Oh, true. Well, even still, why would they end their segment with the Immortal? You know, Immortal's dog shit. Yo, thank you for the 17 months, dude. Shh.
There is justice within the light, but you have to be patient. Now, pray with me. May Akarat guide and protect me.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May he shepherd my soul.
May he shepherd my soul.
And grant it mercy.
And grant it mercy.
What are you doing here? This is not the time.
But this is confession. And I have sinned. I was a thief.
Oh, nice, dude.
Who stole from those more fortunate.
Oh.
I strayed from your light.
It's like a rogue. Is it going to be a rogue?
Found my trade in the shadows. They call it murder.
Is it assassin?
Job.
It's got a bow. Well, I don't know if it's assassin. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe so. I think it's a rogue. Or Amazon, yeah, that's probably what they were back then.
I am a thief. A heretic. A murderer. Father.
I don't think it's going to be an assassin,
Will
but
Akarat
maybe.
Save me.
Maybe it's like a mixture of assassin slash rogue, so it's like a.
You
I mean, it could be called anything.
But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled. And you.
It says rogue. It's a rogue. It says rogue right there when she talked.
You see, yes. Thank the heavens for you.
Heavens? I assure you, Father, the heavens didn't send me.
So I guess that's what they're doing. They're naming classes here and there. Wonder if they're gonna name any more of them though. There's no way they're gonna talk about Diablo Immortal after this and have make us. Oh. Okay.
Just the sound of that ear getting pierced by the hook is so brutal.
Just so you guys remember, in Diablo 2, when you killed
I've been a
players,
huge fan
you
of
got
the Rogue
ears.
ever since the original Diablo.
You remember that, right?
Even
Was it Diablo
seeing
2
them
or
come
Diablo
back
1?
as
I think it was
NPCs
Diablo
and
2,
mercenaries
right?
in Diablo 2's Rogue
Or was it Diablo
encampment
1?
served as a great bridge between the games.
You could actually do it from
With the
PvP, so I don't know if
setting
that's
of Diablo
a
4
sign to
being a
say,
larger
ooh,
world than we've
PvP
ever
boys.
played in before. We're
But
excited
they might
to
actually
show
be
you
focused on
not just
PvP
what
this
the
time around.
successors to
Yeah,
the
they said in
original rogues
D3
in
there was
the
going to be
series
PvP as
have been
well,
up
and look
to
how
since
dog
the
shit
fall
that
of their
was, and it
order,
took about fucking
but
7 years
also
for it to come
what some
out.
of the other rogues in the world of Sanctuary might look like. The mantra for Diablo 4 has been customization first, and the Rogue takes this to a whole new level. From the beginning, the Rogue has been an incredibly flexible class, able to adapt to any
It's
situation.
console-oriented. You see the skill
Our
bar,
goal
boys.
is to let you
That's
create the
disappointing.
kind of rogue that you want to
6
play.
abilities, by the way.
Whether it's an unrivaled archer modeled after the original Sisterhood, or a cloak and dagger rogue from the darkest alleys of Chaldeum, in Diablo 4, you will have the freedom to create the rogue that you imagine by customizing the looks, the
Ensure your
background,
4-player
and the
lobbies,
playstyle
chat.
of your character. Please stick around for our segment later today, where I'll be joined by other members of the Diablo 4 team to share a closer look at the rogue class.
That's how it's always
as well
been?
as
Shut
some
up,
of the
noob.
open world gameplay that we're bringing to the game.
Shut up!
Spoilers, those severed ears are not just for show. But Diablo 4 is not the only Diablo game we're talking about today. If you're looking for an authentic Diablo experience on mobile, we've got you covered. Diablo Immortal has everything you'd expect from a AAA action RPG. From the visceral combat and
Please don't end
epic
with
loot
this.
to an all-new story, bridging the gap between the events
hang on.
of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3.
Don't you have phones?
Later
Is that what
today,
they're saying?
you can join the Immortal team, where they'll talk about some of the things they've learned from their recent alpha test and what's next for the game. But that's still not all.
Here it comes,
We
I
have
told
one
you.
last bit
I told
of very
you.
exciting Diablo news to
Here
cover.
it is.
When you hear us talk about the classes, the items, or the
Oh, shit, maybe
stories
not.
of the early Diablo games, you may have picked up on the absolute reverent tone we reserve for that golden era of Diablo. Maybe you share that love of the classics, and just hearing us talk about them makes you want to take on Mephisto or Baal one more time.
Oh shit, boys, it's
or
happening.
maybe even for the first time.
Diablo
After all,
2,
some of our
it's
favorite
coming.
moments happened a long time ago, and not just in Sanctuary years. If so, we have a special surprise for you today. Let's check it out.
Mom, get the lube! Actually, I don't need lube!
A wanderer. Now you know what I seek, Marius. Were these the demons?
It's Diablo 2, 100%.
It seems you are not acceptable of it unto me. Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror.
Oh, this music as well. Oh, I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm, boys.
Though this be our darkest hour, it may yet be your greatest moment.
Please don't be on phone. Oh, shit. Oh, look how good it looks, dude. Oh my God, chat. I got a boner. I've got an erection. I am gonna play the fuck out of this. Oh my god. Mom, sign me up.
After more than 20 years, the Dark Wanderer has returned.
All right, listen, this BlizzCon was fine. Everything's good.
East, always east. Diablo 2 is a landmark game for Blizzard. Diablo 2 Resurrected is a full HD remaster of both the original game and the expansion, Lord of Destruction.
The expansion as
it
well,
takes
dude.
the 2D sprite-based classic that we love and brings it into the present.
We're all gonna
in
make
3D,
Enigma, boys.
Utilizing up-to-date graphical rendering and lighting technology.
Get your three-socket chest
also
ready.
includes modernizing all 27 minutes.
We're gonna
of
be
cinematics,
teleporting everywhere, boys.
recreated shot for shot with the explicit intention of preserving both the look and the pacing of the original movies. Blizzard has a long history of games that we're proud of. And when we think about Diablo 2, we think about it as a definitive pillar in our foundation.
Yo.
Now, it's funny to think that some of you weren't even born when D2 was released, which makes it all the more important that we deliver an authentic experience.
Oh man, are they redoing the videos and everything, dude?
We want everyone
Diablo
to
2
relive their
story was
memories
insanely good.
or experience the game for the very first time on their platform of choice. And so we're excited to bring Diablo 2 Resurrected to PC and console, along with cross progression. And for those of you who are in love with the original,
and those of you that have mobile
just wish
phones,
it worked more
Fuck
seamlessly
off!
on modern computers.
Fuck off!
You can bring back all of that nostalgia exactly as you remember, and enjoy the game in its original 2D form, much like we did with StarCraft Remastered. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Later today, Diablo speedrunner Mr. Llama will host a roundtable with members of the development team on the dedicated Diablo channel. If you are a Diablo 2 fan, I encourage you to take a look.
when do we see that? I want to go watch, dude.
So, from Diablo 2 Resurrected,
here we go,
to Burning Crusade Classic, to the Blizzard Arcade Collection. It's a whole lot of looking back. And while we have teams
TBC and Diablo 2 in the same year, what are they doing to my fucking life and my lack of social skills? They're going to completely obliterate it.
Developers working on these projects. Far more people are working on the future of Blizzard. And in addition to what we'll be talking about during the show, we can't wait to tell you even more about our plans over the course of this year and beyond. If you had asked us 30 years ago what gaming would look like today, none of us could have predicted the current Blizzard lineup of games. The advances in technology are one thing, but it's really what those advances have enabled that's even more incredible. If you think about the people who play games and the communities that have grown up around them, the way people can connect instantly, no matter where they are in the world, the way people are increasingly able to express their identity and celebrate who they are through their favorite games, communities, and platforms. The explosion of things like streaming, cosplay, and esports. It would have been hard to imagine any of that 30 years ago. And at Blizzard, that is what excites us about the next 30 years. There is so much that we're working on. And some of it you already know about. The rest, we look forward to talking to you about it when the time is right. Just like the real world, the worlds of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and Hearthstone are diverse, expansive, and full of potential.
Heroes of the Storm, put it in the bin.
Iterating on the experiences that you've come to expect.
Put it back in the trash.
We're also exploring different ways to express our worlds and welcome.
I actually forgot that game existed.
More places into them. And we aspire
That's fucked
to
up.
continue to lead on priorities like accessibility and toxicity control.
Oh.
And to continue supporting causes that have a positive
I'm pretty sure
impact on
HOTS
the
is
real
trash because of
We want to
toxicity
continue to bring
control.
those same
They didn't
feelings
want
of
it.
joy
They wanted everyone to have
and
this even
all felt
balanced
when we
game
first
without
defeated
cool
the Lich
items
King.
that snowball and make people rage and
Diablo
shit.
on hardcore mode. Because when we geek out on those experiences with others, we can't help but see the similarities between us and feel what's possible when we play together. Of course,
Diablo 2 Remastered is up on the store already
that we haven't visited quite yet. And when we do finally unveil those games,
man, honestly, chat, I'm gonna play the fuck out of Diablo.
Is that you will see in them.
I'm gonna literally play the absolute shit out of that game.
Or where you're from, they are spaces where you can create new stories, forge new friendships, and make memories worthy of lasting a lifetime. And through it all, our mission statement of being dedicated to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever, along with our core values, led by gameplay first, will continue to guide our way. So on behalf of everyone at Blizzard,
I hope you're ready to watch a Diablo stream halfway through the year whenever this comes out.
It is the honor of my
What's my
professional
class? I
life
played
to
everything,
serve
bro.
you,
Everything.
and the honor of all of us at Blizzard to be the caretakers.
I
of the
played
worlds
every
that you
class
play
so much, dude. Really.
in. We are so excited for what's to come this year, next year, and the next 30 years. Now, what's coming next for the show? Well, it depends on where you watch. For those of you looking for an update on Overwatch, check out the behind-the-scenes look into the development of Overwatch 2.
Should we go to
over on
Diablo,
their
chat? You guys want to go
dedicated
watch
channel
Diablo?
right after the conclusion of opening ceremonies. There, you'll hear about Overwatch 2, new content, new features, including new
Is
maps,
it already up, boys?
hero missions, talent trees, and more of what we think will make Overwatch.
Wait, what is this? Oh, it's a cartoon. Oh, this is good. I like where we're going here, boys. I like where we're going here. Dude, that Diablo 2 looked fucking amazing though, chat. Holy fuck, that looked juicy. I can't believe how good it looked. I was thinking like they were just gonna stretch the screen and like, you know, sharpen things up, more FPS, but that, like, the graphics and everything looked fucking insanely good, dude. It didn't look Diablo 4 quality, of course, but it looked good. It looked good. Man, I'm fucking excited. I'm excited for that shit. I hope they don't, I hope we can still, like, power level and shit. I hope they don't try and, like, nerf the cool shit. I doubt they will. Can we buy fucking Diablo already? That's $70, boys. Yo, Diablo was just creepy, man. Like, Kael and Mephisto, how Mephisto talked was just fucking disgusting. Scary as fuck, dude. I'm gonna sneeze. Straight out of hell. All right, I boarded already, boys. Done and dusted. Thinking I wasn't gonna buy that shit instantly? You're tripping. Yeah, I'm looking at the Diablo 3 one. I've already got that. I've already got D3. D3 is like, I don't know. D3 had some cool parts to it, but it just didn't feel scary. I don't know why, dude. It was like, and I think Diablo 4 is gonna be the same. I don't think they understand just like darkening the scenes makes it scarier. It was like Dude, there's fucking corpses hanging off the walls. There's fucking blood and shit everywhere, you know what I mean? It looked like hell was there. It didn't have all these clean fields or clean roadways. There was bloody footprints, like drag marks of corpses, arms and shit just hanging out, you know, pikes on the side of the road with a fucking corpse impaled on it. There was disgusting shit, you know what I mean? And then you'd hear all the random haunting sounds in the background of people screaming, or, you know, the darkness around you not being completely bright and shit. It had so much more to it than D3 and D4. What the fuck is this? Zariel's titties hanging out. Oh yeah, you'd remember that shit. You sick prick. Oh nice, this is D1, boys.
What can I do for you? 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 What can I do?
Your death will.
That was actually what Diablo 1 was like when you played it the second time.
Morta Vespa Gaia Inu.
Help! Help!
Help!
Strike with great vengeance.
They really didn't put much into the budget this year, Chad. Imagine how cool this could have been if it was like a full fucking realistic, like video-like experience. This would have been insane. But do you think they've like gone to some cartoon drawer and been like, "Yo, bro, we got like 5K. You want to make us a video, my dude?"
Your time has come.
Oh, it's from one of their creators? That's awkward. They clearly played Diablo. Let's not live through Diablo 3.
Strange.
Actually, what happened? Actually, what happened, though?
Greetings to you. Seems you're ready for the real thing.
Watch your back.
Hey, look at me!
Oh, looks like we got an audience.
I'm getting good at this. I am in the groove.
Turret online.
Piece of cake.
I didn't expect it to be this long, to be honest. They need to get someone with this creativity doing the dude. Imagine if this was like in the actual quality of like realistic shit. It would have been so insane. They're not going to do Diablo 2 to start with, surely. Can I turn off CC?
Hey everyone,
that's...
welcome to the
Oh
Diablo
God,
channel here at BlizzConline. I'm Rod Ferguson, the new executive producer of the Diablo franchise, and I feel very lucky to be here with you today. For the first time, Blizzard has brought all the different Diablo games, old and new, under one umbrella. And as head of the franchise, my goal is to make sure that no matter what you play on, no matter where you play, you can look forward to many years of unforgettable Diablo experiences.
Epic music, bro.
Speaking
so
of
epic.
Which, we'd like to take the next couple of hours to have a little fun and bring you up to date on 3 Diablo games we have in development. Yes, 3. Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, and announced today, Diablo 2 Resurrected. First up is our Diablo 4 deep dive, followed by a visit from a very dear old friend. Trust me when I say you'll want to
I want to see what he looks like.
And listen.
I'm interested to see what he actually looks like if we get to see him. Dude, then he's in the... Okay, they're going straight into D4. That's
Ever
good.
since we announced Diablo 4 at last BlizzCon 2019, we've been sharing updates with you guys through our blog, whether it's items, skills, zones, even user interface.
See
updates.
that didn't look like hell was there, chat. You see the ground and shit?
To mark
They
the
just
special
don't get it.
occasion of BlizzConline
They just
on
don't get
Blizzard's
it, dude.
30th anniversary, rather than doing a blog, we're actually going to share lots of video, introduce a new class like we saw in opening ceremonies, and also cover some open world topics, including mounts, camps, and PvP.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate blog post, right? We get to actually hand deliver it.
Like, think
This is
about
the
it.
dream.
Yeah, you think it looks fine, that's cool, whatever. But if hell just went through this place, it isn't gonna look like it's normal. You know what I mean? That's why Diablo 2 was fucking just disgusting and gross and plagued. Yo, Z, thank you for the 14. King of Room, thank you for the 5. Mon, thank you for the 500 biddies. Appreciate it. Diablo 3 had the same problems. They've darkened it up a bit, but they haven't, like, you know. Alright, well, I guess we'll watch this again. This was pretty cool. Just so you guys know, when the ear goes on, it's the same sound, I think, or a similar sound to when an ear would drop when you kill somebody. That's why I think there's going to be something emphasized with PvP.
Granted mercy.
And granted mercy.
What are you doing here? This is not the time.
But this is confession. And I have sinned.
The squish noise, yeah.
Who stole from those more fortunate.
Oh, I don't think they'll do esports shit, but
I strayed from your
they might actually make it worth it.
And found my trade
getting into
in the
PvP and
shadows.
shit. No, if you could jewel cash or something, and money was worth something.
Murder. I say, job well done. I am a thief, a heretic, a murderer, father. Will Akira
I can't wait for the videos though. Diablo 4 better have good video. And no magic butterflies.
But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you were the answer.
Wait, is there hints with these ears about the other 3 classes?
Then we are settled. And you
have they announced any other classes? They've got the druid, the barbarian.
You see is.
But what about the 3rd ear?
Thank the heavens.
It could be a sorcerer or a paladin.
Heavens. I assure you, Father.
Oh, there's probably gonna be 5 classes.
The heavens.
What did they say?
didn't
4?
send
Maybe
me.
4. I don't know. Wait, so what was there? druid, rogue, and something. There's 100% going to be a barb. Just look around, like everywhere you go, like you can pause here, like there's some of this is cool, but like if Death walked through here, you know what I mean, it wouldn't look so clean around these areas. There's just like little bits here and there that are gooey, but if you look at the art in Diablo 2, it's just all rough and gross, you know what I mean? Maybe it's just because it's like early, but I hope they have more gruesome shit everywhere. Yeah, see that? See the noise in the background is similar to what the cutting ear sound was. It's not the same, but it's got a ring to it.
Wow, I love that ending. There's two things. There's the rain of arrows off the mount for the win, and then when that guy takes the ear and he stretches it onto that hook right at the end, it's like, oh.
That ear box never gets old. You know, I always wonder where all those ears from Diablo 2 when you kill other players went.
Now you know there's some creepy guy in a church collecting ears and putting them in a box. Just what we always thought.
No spoilers, but we're going to be hearing a little bit more about World PvP a little bit later in the segment. But ears are definitely making a comeback. Let's go back to the class, because there's just nothing more exciting to be able to introduce to a Diablo game than another class for players to check out.
I can smell it.
This is a pretty cool thing. We don't get to do this very often, right?
I think it was you that said that, John. There's always room around the campfire.
There's always a little room.
We had kind of like
Diablo 2 is going to be better than Diablo 4. Changed my mind.
The barbarian, the arcane knowledge of the sorceress, kind of a return of a shape-shifting classic with the druid. No RPG lineup is complete without that dexterity class that's kind of like defeating enemies with finesse, with speed. And we kept coming back to just the idea of bringing it to the kind of the godfather of all dexterity-based archetypes, the rogue that we saw in Diablo 1.
I mean, you gotta be excited to have the rogue back. I mean, I know that like when we were exploring different classes, like you had talked about some of your experience with Diablo 1, right?
Oh, for sure. So one of the things that's super cool is like the rogue was always able to adapt their playstyle. So fans of Diablo 1, Diablo 2 rogues will be able to create
just gonna fucking throw my shit on the ground.
Rogues, starting with the weapon selection. On the melee weapon side, rogues can use swords and daggers, as well as bows and crossbows on the ranged side.
You know, just those sort of dagger attacks mixed with bow attacks, it's like, it just looks great on screen. With all the classes having this real strong identity as far as the animations and what they do, you think about the druid and shapeshifting, or the barbarian with sort of, you know, his leap attacks. There's just all these great things that you discover with the rogue that you can't really do with other classes.
I love that you can start cosmetically from such a iconic place where you're wearing the red armor, you kind of look like part of the sisterhood of the Sightless Eye from the original games. You know, you can maybe even add some tattoos into the mix, some scars.
Sick, dude.
Make that rogue your own. Or if your fantasy of the rogue is a more traditional RPG outlaw, you're definitely able to create that and put on your kind of hood and half mask and be more of a shadowy character.
Yeah, and the character customization, you kind of mentioned it, being able to craft that, you know, that the class of your dreams or your nightmares. It was a feature that I was honestly super nervous about when we started, because we never had this in a Diablo game. But seeing where it is now, it's one of those things that like I'm super excited about with
Yo, Tiger, thank you for the team on my dude.
Creativity and fun looks, and you can be that you
Appreciate
know,
it, buddy.
tattooed criminal outlaw, or you can be a more noble looking kind of, you know, sort of like thief with good morals.
Well, one of the things that we kind of kept running with beyond just the cosmetics was customization. We had this niche to fill in the class lineup that spoke to the finesse player, to the dexterity player, and just that everyone's idea of what that could be was a little bit different, whether it leaned more on range or melee. But we took that a little bit of a step further. We really wanted to have each class in our game
just have that one thing that makes you go like, that's bullshit when you see a player use it.
It will
and then
be an
makes you wanna
SOJ
re-roll that
economy,
class,
100%.
because no other class gets it. For the rogue, it's the
I just
class
hope they don't have
specialization. The
duping.
3 specializations are combo points.
In Diablo 2, that is, yeah.
Shadow Realm. And
it'll make
exploit
the game
weakness.
so good without duping, man.
I like Shadow Realm because I take the
chat.
problem and I make it smaller.
Chat, Diablo 2 had charms. It's already better than Diablo 3. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, smaller problem.
I love the idea of exploit
Charms
weakness.
alone
The
are
way
gonna
it
make the
works
game
is,
so much better.
During some of the enemy attacks, players will see an icon flash over the enemy's head, during which time they will get to retaliate with much more damage than an ordinary attack. If you're quick on the draw, this is the specialization for you. I'm just like a little bit skill capped there, and you know,
When
like
the white
every time I try
ring
to
was
make it
prevalent,
work,
I
I'm
have
just,
no
just a little
idea
bit shy of
what
the
the
skill
white
level
ring
that's
is in
required for
reference
that.
to.
It's almost like you're a surgeon.
Oh,
and
what
it
was that?
requires
So
a
you trying to
really,
upgrade it to a SOJ, you
strong
mean?
ability to assess what's happening all around you.
My personal favorite is the combo point specialization. As you might expect,
1.09. That wasn't that the first part of the expansion,
which enhance your spender's effectiveness in combat. It basically
Is that
you
what
just
that
like
was?
get into this rhythm of combat of like 3 builders to a spender, lets you build up to these big moments. It almost makes like a rhythm game out of combat, which I really enjoy. And the way the class specializations work is
can't remember
you will
what
work
the
with one
patch
of the world groups
numbers
of
were.
rogues around the world in Sanctuary that you will find and do class-specific quests that no other class can do. Whether it's the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye, the remnants of that order that you choose to work with, or the mercenaries of Kyrgyzstan, or
What have you missed so
the
far?
outlaw smugglers of the swamps of
Not much in
Halazar.
terms of Diablo
Depending
4.
on- maybe on what sticks
They
to
announced
your,
the rogue class,
fancy, or
but
depending
Diablo
on
2 is
which
being remastered.
Specialization speaks to you, or you find more powerful. You'll be able to complete that.
But they haven't
quest
shown
line
much
and then
about the Diablo
activate
2 stuff yet. That's what I'm waiting for.
specialization, which then you can mix and match with any of the playstyles. So you could be a combo points, ranged, or melee player, but you could also be an exploit weakness, range, or melee, or hybrid player. It just gives the class such huge variety in builds and playstyles.
I love how that ties into the open world aspect. You know, the ability to go to Kyrgyzstan or Halazar and get these.
Yeah, there's
special
no.
quests that only the rogue
I
can
can't
get.
imagine them
That's just
releasing.
one of the things that I love that we've done, which is like connecting.
So they said
the weapons
TBC
and
is
equipment to
2021 as well.
regions.
So
When
I'd
you're
imagine they do
exploring the world and
D2
you
earlier.
pick up a sword in Kyrgyzstan.
Surely.
It's a scimitar, right? If you're up in,
And there's no way they're
Spasman,
gonna
which is
release
up
them
in
at the same
north,
time.
It's more of like a broadsword. You know, it's this sort of like this. It's a subtle thing, but I think it really, you know, different armors that you get in different regions look like they're from the place. And so giving that sense of place in the world is something that I just every time I play the game, I feel it, I see it in just like subtle ways. And just really enhances the overall sense of immersion and experience. And I just want to see what's around the corner.
The weapons are also like going back all the way to Diablo 2.
Yeah, so they
it's
don't
such
have
an
a
integral
release
part
date,
of the
it's just
class, and the
2021
ability to
sometime.
augment your weapon through magic, through enhancements.
And I
is
imagine
something that
TBC is going to be the
really
same.
spoke to us when we try to tap into the core of the class. Going back to those mercenaries that you could hire, it was always kind of cool to see what kind of special arrow shot they would come with. And it's something we paid homage to with the imbue system, all the way from directly elemental imbues like the frost imbue, which feels a lot like the ice arrows that the D2 mercenaries used to shoot, all the way to we expanded it to feel a little grittier, a little darker into things like poison imbue and shadow imbue. Just the ability to take any sort of attack and kind of mix and match with those imbues.
Once that kind of clicked for me that I could take any ability and imbue it with, you know, either of those elements. Rain of arrows with frost.
I mean, it's going to make like resist on enemies pointless,
right? Like,
if you
it's
can
essentially
imbue
freezing
whatever
the
you want.
battlefield. And then I just love poison imbue because of the gruesome.
What is the
death
point of that? It seems so
all the
dumb.
monsters experience. And we've had a ton of fun making that art, so it's always fun to kind of see the, you know,
Like if there's a 10-second cooldown on changing your imbue, resists just like irrelevant.
Which I never really gets old.
It's a really flexible way to take a build that you're already comfortable with, that you already like. Say you're really comfortable with flurry and shadow step as kind of your melee.
Do you see what I've been
skills,
talking
and you
about though?
find
Like
yourself
every single place you go to, like it just, I mean, this outside feels somewhat dark, but it's like light and not. It's too clean and crisp or something for hell to have just gone through here.
Up to a full freeze.
The art is still so far off.
Pretty well with group play as well, right? you know, where I can freeze an enemy and
It's so
somebody else can
frustrating
blow
to
it up.
watch.
Or also the way that like chills work in the game, they build up to a full freeze. So if your best buddy is a sorceress player, your chill spells and your frost imbue chills will actually build up faster than if you were using a single player. So just ask to open with Blizzard before you frost imbue, and you'll basically be freezing enemies.
Like
twice
they've
as
got all
fast,
this
which
cool
is super
destruction
awesome
shit.
synergy. So
But I
the
feel
last
like
thing,
just get rid of
that's
that
worth,
and add
spend some time
death on
talking
the
about the
ground.
rogue. It's like how mobile the class is, just how able the class is to kind of close the gap between themselves and the enemy. Even while they're mounted, you might find yourself, a
even
full
this
screen
like
away and just dismounting into a rain of arrows.
There's no way
closing
the
rest of
fiery
that
depths
gap
of
with,
hell just
maybe
walk
like a
through that
dash,
grass. You know what I mean?
And then getting back out of there.
It
dropping
blows my
some
mind that it's
power
so
up.
shit still.
They can basically control the
literally blows
fluid
my
motion
mind.
of combat in a way that no other class can.
Like, do they understand the depths of fucking hell coming up on Earth? Like, if these monsters weren't here, it'd just look like any other game I'm walking through.
The sheer mobility of the class.
This is
lets
not
you
dark
just
and gloomy.
adapt to the situations.
This is shit.
Even when you would have totally been toast as another class.
It's
room
hell,
full of
goddammit.
elites, you're able to use offensive abilities in creative ways. Abilities like shadow stuff.
I
right?
will scream at them.
Abilities like shadow.
They'll never
realm,
listen, but I'll
abilities
scream
like
at them.
dash. So you're able to kind of like use them to your advantage in a way that gets you out of a very dangerous situation by picking that one lone skeleton archer that maybe is not surrounded by everything else. You can shadow step there, get out of the way, and live to fight another day, which just feels like such a rogue thing to do.
When I play the rogue, I really do feel like surgical precision. I really feel like I can move through the whole screen without. It feels kind of effortless.
I don't know, man.
And
It
almost
just looks
sometimes
too
a little
clean,
unfair.
dude.
It's
Even
when
like
I
the
go into Shadow
animations
Realm
and the
I'm
skills
dashing,
and stuff.
I'm like, am I cheating? Did I just break the game?
And we'll hear more about PvP in a little bit, but I just couldn't go without mentioning that some of our most feared PvP players on the team play rogue, and just the way they're able to like surprise you. You might be with a group of friends, and just that mobility lets them go to the middle of the group.
So this world PvP, I like the idea of this stuff.
Frost imbued, and before you know it, you're all frozen. And looking at a rogue while you're frozen, let me tell you, there are fewer scarier things in our game right now than that.
Yeah,
So
no
Luis,
shit.
This was, this was like the ultimate blog post. This has been a lot of fun getting to share.
The scariest
a new
thing in the
addition to the
game
campfire.
is an icy
And
rogue.
of course, there's probably going to be more in the future, right? We always say there's a little bit more room around that campfire.
That's right. And that pretty much wraps it up for the rogue. So why don't we go to Joe and Karina and learn a little bit more about those open world features that we promised.
Well, thank you to Luis and John for introducing the Rogue, which I'm really excited.
I'm
we finally
actually
got a chance
interested
to
to
talk
hear about this shit,
and
though.
announce to the community. And we're here today to talk to
Just
you
turn
about
down your
Diablo
brightness.
4 and
Just
the
turn
open
off your
world.
monitor.
Now,
There
I
you
think
go.
maybe the best way to start this conversation, Karina, would be just for me to ask you, like, what are you most excited about what we're adding in Diablo 4 for the open world? What feature, what mechanic, what are you most excited to talk about first?
I am really excited about just exploring the world. I am
Doesn't look scary. It doesn't look like hell. Look at this shit,
naturally,
dude.
it's the way I play, and I love exploring and looking
See,
around.
that looks
every
like-
single
that-
different
that
planet.
looks
The
somewhat
more
scary
this
and
game
gloomy.
has been growing, particularly since last BlizzCon. The more fun I am having just riding around the open world on my mount and exploring everything I possibly.
Chat, how does any of this look like hell just crawled out of the anus of Earth and is taking over? What is this? Is the storyline they just fell down from the fucking top and they're just standing there now? How does this look like hell is around us?
Games, obviously, but now that we've really been able to embrace the open world concept, we can really dive much
it looks like a
deeper
fucking park.
into how does Sanctuary actually all fit together. Like
Just
be able
put
to
some fucking
rise
swings
from
there, dude.
Skazglenj to the fractured peaks. It's very, very interesting that way. One of the things about that I think is really neat is the collection.
Like, the art looks good, but it just
aspect
doesn't
of
look
mounts.
scary.
So I mean, there's all these horse breeds and other mounts you can find throughout the world from completing puzzles or just finding hidden locations or slaying certain particular kinds of monsters. Find various horses or things to customize your horse with, like horse armor. There are hoof plates you can get and trophies to show off your accomplishments. There's lots of different ways to make sure you can personalize them out and make it really
Tip is
feel like
over
it's
here,
your
bro.
companion.
Yeah, it's
You're
really cool,
literally
like you
defending
mentioned with the
this.
horseshoes, you get to actually change the
That is-
speed at which your horse can run, and
My
it's something
brain
I like
hurts,
to be
okay?
able to customize
You're making
the
my
horse
brain
to the
fucking
type
hurt.
of gameplay that I like to enjoy as a player. And it's really, really fun. I like the amount of variety that you give us.
And I mean, there's more to mounts than just that as well. So like one thing we know we didn't want to do with mounts in Diablo 4 is we didn't want to have like jousting, this idea of like fighting from horseback. It's not really the Diablo experience, right?
Yeah, that's something I'm super excited for.
What is the Diablo experience? Walking through a park
to
find your Stone of Jordan?
Her dismount skill ice dash, where she shoots forward off her mount and destroys everything in her path.
There's a fucking gooey spider, okay? Some guy with like a fiery ball on his back, and you're telling me there's not even footsteps around these guys. There's not little burn marks, okay? There's not goo from this fucking spider's anus. No spider webs. Nothing, okay? How do you defend that, okay? There's no defense for that, dude.
Pass by, getting down the fray, and then starting to sprint like.
Surely they just gotta add it later.
That is.
Surely they gotta add it later.
What we're looking for, being able to jump in, engage with enemies from your horse.
If they don't,
and
bro.
Then just
Diablo 2 is where it's at. We're all going to be Diablo 2 players, okay?
It's interesting that your mount can't get damaged, but if a monster actually attacks you while you're mounted,
see, that looks somewhat gloomy as you rode along there with the pikes and shit, but
judging for yourself when you do want to use that skill in order to prevent you from
maybe they just need to do another art pass through or some shit.
Definitely a little bit of gameplay there to make sure that you're using it in a way that is most appropriate to help you get where you're trying to go, and also fight the monsters you want to fight. One of the things I'm most excited about for the open world right now is this feature we have called camps. So camps are basically these strongholds of evil out in the overworld. You got to remember that decades ago during the events of Reaper of Souls,
open world PvP, like
power, the Reapers killed like 9
how
out of
linear
10
are the maps
throughout Sanctuary. Like
I wonder how spread they are and stuff now.
Now there's a big power vacuum out here. Decades later. And these monsters have started to move into these places. Bandits, monsters, goatmen, all kinds of different creatures, skeletons,
see, this
undead,
looks bad because there's dead shit on the ground.
Resurface and
gold
come back
and
into
shit.
These areas
But that's because they're dead, like they just died.
You, as the hero of Sanctuary, get to kind of wander through these spaces and begin to reclaim them for the people of Sanctuary. That's part of what makes them really, really neat. Each of them have their own story. They're their own unique fixed place in the world.
Unlike quests,
D2
quests is something that
JSP, yeah, this guy's a fucking D2
you
nerd.
come across them anyway. Camps are a permanent
What was it, D2 trades as well?
You as the player, when
the
you
other
come
one?
across that evil, you can actually have a real impact on the open world that everyone else can see, because once you have defeated that evil, one of the really fun things is that you basically unlock that camp and you make a new waypoint that previously didn't exist for yourself, but like suddenly all the marketplaces open up and now you have a blacksmith vendor in a location that previously didn't exist, which I think is really, really cool.
Now, what we're looking at here, this was a village, the village of Karayisu, which now has fallen to ruins. The people here in the Dry Steppes had a problem. The problem was there were bloodthirsty cannibals that dwelled nearby and would regularly raid their community.
Like, look at these creepy ass mobs with like fire and
themselves from these cannibals.
gloomy shit coming off them. And they're not even leaving, there's not even a footprint.
They were able to gather enough power to push these cannibals out.
How do you get immersed in this shit?
But not without great cost, as we can see here. You're kind of helping resettle parts of Sanctuary in many ways when you take these camps back from the enemy. Vendors will come back, and now suddenly there might be like new quest givers, new stories that need to be told. Dungeon entrances.
It does look bland to you, but it's early. Yeah, Diablo 3 was the same though, my dude. That's the problem.
You take over the camp.
I just don't. I can't imagine them doing a pass through at this point with
so cool
adding
to see permanently
shit like
change
that.
the world as you find
I don't
these
know though.
places
Maybe.
and kind of want
I
to
hope they
solve these problems. One of the other neat things about camps, and in general, like the overworld, just broadly speaking, is we have so many more opportunities now.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the gameplay feels good and
the bar vertically
things
as well,
are a little more balanced for PvP could make it exciting.
The idea of jumping across chasms to allow the player to get access to a location that they previously didn't have.
There's all kinds of areas where
though. Like, what is the idea of this?
Allowing them extra movement options they haven't had in previous Diablo games.
We are also in a vertical top-down camera for the environment, and so it really breaks up the plane that you typically
honestly,
see.
Just look what you're looking at. Like, this does not feel like hell is anywhere nearby at all.
Of things that you can possibly do to mix it up and make things a little bit different. There's like certain puzzle elements.
Design with console in mind equals automatically garbage. Well, consoles these days are not that bad.
It's not just a matter of running through the world and getting to your goal.
Did I check out Project Diablo 2? I think I might have actually. There's a couple of mods I've checked out as well.
I know that you are very excited about PvP.
I'm a huge fan of PvP. I love the first time that we all actually had a chance to, as a whole team, play PvP, because the amount of feedback that generated. I think it took design like 3 days to go through it all. And what that showed me is that I find everyone they either love it or they hate it. And I personally love it. I really enjoy it. So the way that PvP works is that the hatred of Mephisto has been bubbling up from hell and has created these areas in the open world that you can freely walk into that kind of consumes you and makes you turn against your fellow players.
PvP, even in these areas, these fields of hatred, right? Even in these spaces, it's not like mandatory. So these are optional places players can choose to go to kind of collect shards of hatred that they can collect from like killing monsters, from completing events, opening chests, all kinds of ways to earn these things, not necessarily just killing players. And as you earn these shards of hatred, they're kind of in an unpurified state. They're in a basic state. You need to bring them to a purification event
shards, this
in
could
order
turn
to
into
turn them
something
into a
decent.
currency that you can then use in the nearby like small encampments around the fields of hatred. And what's really neat about that is that when you're trying to purify these things, that's when everybody nearby finds out and hears like, oh, okay, well, someone's actually trying to complete a purification ritual. We need to go and kill those players and take all of their shards before they finish. But once you purify them, they're yours. You can't lose them. But before they're purified, they're free game.
Yeah, I think it's really important to note that, like, even if you don't want to engage with other PvP players, you can actually explore those areas and collect the shards of hatreds from specifically monsters. But the second you need to then turn them in and purify them into a currency where you can spend them on gear,
there's no way
trophies,
these
and other
shard
content,
things are like
you actually are
gotta give you
hostile
good
yourself
good
and actually
items.
can
I
be
guarantee
attacked
it.
during
They're
that
like gonna
single
be a
moment.
tier
But I
below
think that really,
PvE.
creates a lot of opportunity for you to team up
100%.
with friends for just that one little moment in order to gain the reward that you spent so much time collecting.
So you called out earlier that the shards of hatred are used for like some of the vendors you could find in the fields of hatred. There are some special vendors that only kind of arrive in these areas. They'll have special costumes or new mounts and
so it's
weapons
trash.
and things along those lines.
Oh,
Nothing that's
weapons,
like strictly more powerful than stuff you can get in other parts of the game.
See?
But stuff that really like speaks to your desire as a PvP player. And I think one of the things that's really kind of neat
told
about
you,
this
they're
in general is
pussies,
that
dude.
as a player, if you choose to go hostile, betray other players that are near you, try to get as many shards of hatred as you can, you're going to slowly begin
Nice,
to kind
good
of like
PvP so you
infuse
can get
yourself with
as
that
skin
same
on your
curse of
horse,
Mephisto.
bro.
And you're
That
gonna
everybody in the
become a
server
vessel
will
of
have.
hatred. Now,
Wow.
once you do that, everyone within a very large radius of you is going to be able to see you as a threat on the map. And they're going to get a bonus for killing you. So when that occurs, you have a set amount of time you need to survive.
Yo,
And if you're able
special
to
thanks
do
for the
that
2 months,
without
dude.
running away or jumping in a town portal and trying to escape, if you're able to do that and finish that period and
You
manage
did
to
say
escape
weapons,
or
so
defeat your
I don't
people
know.
who are coming to try to destroy
There's no
you,
way they're gonna be the
you're
best
gonna get a
weapons you
really
can
big
get
bonus
though.
at the
Like
end.
they're gonna be
And
average
that's
at
been
best.
really, really exciting to watch in
It's
our
gonna be like
playtests
entry
already.
level
So
shit,
we're,
I
like,
guarantee it.
kind of wrestling for this status and then trying to defend it once they actually achieve it.
Yeah, and there's also the ears that you get to collect as a trophy. It harkens back to D2, where I think you could sell the ears for 1 gold. I don't know if we're going to be doing that. I know we were playing around with them as a currency at one point, but I think right now it's just a cool trophy that you get to collect and show off.
Yeah, right now, very cool trophy.
I can't wait to
The thing
collect
that's really
these
neat about
ears
the
that I
Diablo
can't
2
put
ears,
anywhere,
like, you can fill up
guys.
your whole inventory with them, obviously, but
That's so
being able
good.
to see like the people that you took the ears from, like seeing their character names
how
on
about
there,
this?
was always like the
You
really
give us
the
charms
interesting
back
fun part.
and get
Kind
rid of the
like,
ears,
I got
please.
that person that time.
Or let
right?
us trade in
So we
the
wanna make
ears
sure
for
that we
charms.
embrace
I just
that
want
aspect of it.
charms,
That's the
dude.
important part for
Give me
us.
them.
I think that's going to be a really, really great callback to Diablo 2 PvP.
Right, yeah. So I love where PvP is going, and I love that it is such it's only one part of how large and open the world is, and really harkens back to the adventurer in me when I play the game. How do you feel?
I'm super excited as well. I mean, there's so much to look forward to in Diablo 4 right now. Like what we talked about today just scratches the surface.
Everything I'm
In general, as a Diablo
seeing and
fan,
listening
there's
to is
a lot
depressing,
to be
chat.
looking forward to in the franchise
It
in
really
the future.
is.
Thank you so much for watching today. We look forward
Honestly,
to
the
speaking to you more
mechanical
about this
gameplay
game
looked
and others
good,
in the
like
future.
how the abilities were going off and shit, but I don't know, man. That's never been a problem with their games. It's about everything else. Bruce just encouraged duping. Anything
Dolby
does
is
has
a
a
proud
currency.
partner of BlizzConline. Watch Shock versus the World in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, only in the Dolby Access app.
What?
Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzConline.
What? Get out of here with that. I don't think that's the problem, Ashiok. I don't think that's the problem at all.
My
You see,
career in the video game industry.
Diablo are making a game Like, sure, artwork is very much an issue, but Diablo are making a game that can be profitable. They don't give a shit about longevity. They know a lot of people are going to buy the game, and if they make it easy to play on console and works well on console, then they've done their goal, because they know people will buy this. But the ideas of how they have PvP, I just don't understand what they're trying to do. It's like an a WoW clone, in a way that's like, you can do PvP with players. You can trade it in for shit, but it's not going to be the best shit you can get. That's what it's like. That's how WoW works, right? You cannot get the best items in the game by PvPing. Essentially, you can get good shit, but it's not gonna be that good. But I don't think anybody wants to get items from PvP in Diablo. It doesn't make sense to the way the world works. Even if you're trading in whatever the fuck these shards of hatreds are and shit for items, I still think that's not Diablo. You know, dueling was just about, you know, going in there, having a 1v1, getting gold, and, you know, that's just how it went. It was cool. I mean, even if they had 3v3s or whatever, that'd be cool. But they don't have to add this random weird shit to it to make it what people wanted. Because once you have an area where it's like currency or whatever, people are going to stop PvPing there. And you're not going to get any balanced or fair PvP. It's just going to be fucking, you know, quote unquote, like I said, world PvP, which is just, you know, generally, it's fun here and there, but if it's something you opt into, it's going to be shit. Like, no one's going to do that shit. I guarantee it. Everyone will be doing other shit.
Feel just completely immersed. I become a part of
I want to be able to just make a lobby. People can see it. They can join and we can just duel and shit.
It stays with you.
You know, I can put up a wager of 50,000 gold.
I've got to get back
we
into
duel,
that world
whoever
that
wins,
so
the other person gets it. They don't need to die and shit or whatever.
A lot of games that I've worked on.
Although, you know, that's
really
cool
made me
if we
proud.
can get their ears still.
But one thing I've become very passionate about is creating great game experiences with diverse representation. I've been a gamer all my life, and it was disappointing at times to not have heroes.
Bad with names. Listen, if you can dupe, it doesn't matter what the economy is. Okay, I don't know what you're arguing. If duping is possible, duping will always exist. It's just irrelevant. It doesn't matter if it's a Stoner Jordan or a Rune. You don't not put these in because there's duping. They'll just dupe the fucking charms or the armor or whatever the fuck else it is, and something becomes the value. It doesn't matter what it is. Even Deckard Cain can't save us. I'm interested to see what he looks like though. Stay a while and listen.
Hi, this is Michael Goff, the voice of Deckard Cain. And I invite you to...
Shit, he could have almost played Deckard Cain with a big, long beard.
And listen.
He didn't even sound like Cain when he said that. What the fuck?
I had been working on another project. They just, they said, we're working on something else. Had no idea what it was. And they said, we have this character that we're thinking about, and we just would like to see if you could read a few lines here and do a quick audition. So, I mean, there was a little bit of a description. This older, kind of wise wizard-ish character. Maybe he kind of would sound like an older Sean Connery. Was a nice clue to work with, because it sort of gave you a little path down which, you know, Deckard evolved. There wasn't like the depth or the layers to his character in the beginning, but his sound, it just sort of...
Yeah, how nostalgic is the music,
but it was,
you know?
Yeah, he was a little
So
more perfunctory to begin with. So he would just kind of, you know, appear with his heraldic staff and he'd go, follow me to find the next soul stone. The stakes got higher, right? As time went on. He just became himself in D2, beyond just being the iconic functionality character that he had been in the beginning. He's got his own issues,
I used to think the graphics were so good back then.
A pleasure and a joy to be able to just have more to grab onto and a greater range of emotional reality. He became both more helpful and empathetic and more impatient. There were desperate
should just talk like
actions
Kain
that
always.
needed to be taken, and there isn't much time left, and no one's listening.
The Diablo 2's economy is busted because you can dupe. It
having
doesn't matter
Leah
what item it is
come into
with
his
names.
life
It's irrelevant.
kind of
It's
changed things.
it's a
He
mute.
maybe softened a
There's
little
no
bit,
point you can
but
make.
He was more determined
The
than
economy
ever
is
to
fucked
make sure that
simply because you can dupe in it.
The light was not going to be extinguished. I think the thing that really is Deckard's hallmark is that he cares.
If I could go and
deeply
dupe like
about the world
40
of
jar,
Diablo, the
what is it,
history,
jar
the lore,
Isper for
and
the
what's
Enigma?
happening
If I could go
around him. It's a
dupe
blessing and a
like
curse
40 of jar,
because
40 of
if
Burr,
not him, then who?
you know,
Nobody.
I literally
And as
just
dark
made,
and
you
as
know, the
horrible as
fucking
things
Enigma armor, the
he
best
does
armor in the
believe that
game.
there is
You know what I mean?
a pinprick of light in the darkness
Runes,
that he can help.
never had a sync. Of course they
expand
did.
and
You could put
open
them
up.
in
Some people have said that even, you know, going back to D1,
items and
just
shit.
the fact that
But what
he
do you
was
mean?
there
How did
as a companion
SOJs have
really,
a sync?
helped them.
Nothing had a sync
I
if
was
it could be
surprised
duped.
initially how people feel about Deckard Cain. I mean, I'm really grateful. You know,
It's
whatever
irrelevant. You can just
impact
dupe the
this character may have
SOJs.
had
You
on
can dupe
people,
the
that
Ennies as well.
It's as widespread.
Everything could be
as
duped.
it is. I
So it
mean,
doesn't
I
matter.
think the world needs Deckard Cain now and forever.
I had a bugged Tals Russia armor.
Sanctuary
Like years
was a world
after it was
trapped
out.
between the two
Years.
sides of the
And it was
eternal
duped. 100% it
conflict.
was duped.
It was filled with beauty and danger. A little too much danger, if you ask me. Tristram, of course, was lovely, though these days perhaps
I
not
think
the ideal
in games like this or any
landing place for a
game, the
vacation.
economy can make itself.
Perhaps Chaldean.
If
I
there's
do
no
recall
duping,
they
it's
had
irrelevant to
excellent
what
food in Chaldean,
how the economy
although I
works.
was almost killed there too.
What made the economy in Diablo 2 always have a sync
Heavens, I hope
was
not. I am now,
you know, stats
the
on items not
charge
being perfect.
of a young
Okay,
child
so
named Leah.
I could
It
go
is
find
my-
a 3-socket chest, and it's like, okay, I got like I'm gonna sneeze. I got like, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Come on, come out. I've got I got my 3-socket chest, right? But it's got like 755 armor out of 800, or it's missing whatever stat. But whenever I put shit in it, it's never gonna roll perfect like 99.9999% of the time. So there's always naturally a sync to everything that would be there. But if you can't necessarily prevent a duping of anything, then the economy just is worthless. It doesn't matter what item it is, it's just fucking worthless. Like, it just does not matter.
Not suffered enough. Well, I did visit Pandemonium once, and I lived to tell about it. That's more than most mortals can claim. But that was enough for me.
He just needs to be in Diablo 4 somehow. Surely he's going to be.
I do so certainly hope so. They must be better than demons, eh? At least I'm sure we'll never see an angel wipe out half of humanity again. Oh.
Yo, Generic, thanks for the 3 months, dude.
I should not have said that out loud. Ancient myths, as I recall, say that she helped create the world of Sanctuary, and for that we are eternally grateful. She is also rumored to be quite devious, yes. But she was sealed into the abyss long ago.
If you want to make items and training irrelevant in Diablo, all you have to do is make every item ethereal, but it can repair, but it repairs to like 90%, then it repairs to 80%, then it repairs to, 70% or something like that. And then you have to, I don't know, the runes in it would diminish, or you'd have to re-rune it or some shit like that. There's always ways that you can make that economy work. But
in the
it's
future.
pointless to argue that if you can dupe. It just doesn't matter.
I'm
It
not
just doesn't
sure
matter.
which is which anymore.
There's a million different ways you can make syncs. Item degradation will be annoying as fuck.
My thanks to the D4 dev team for
Depends
that
on
update
how
on
the
our new
degradation
class,
work.
the
If it
Rogue,
just ruined
and
the
even more
runes
details
inside, I
about our
don't think
new
it would
open
be.
world features.
Because
you know,
if you
I just
could
have
like
to say,
maybe
I
keep
love
the
the new
stats,
Rogue.
but you had
It's
to
a little
repair it
Diablo
with
1
like
Rogue mixed with the D2 Assassin.
so say you had to repair an Enigma, instead of for a full repair you'd have to use the Jar Istbur rune rather than just you know, fix it with gold, if that makes sense. So you wouldn't lose the stats on a perfect item, but it would still sync the items like you recreated it, if that makes sense.
Guide through Diablo Immortal. And speaking of Immortal, we had a limited public tech alpha last December, and I had a lot of fun playing over the holiday break.
You know, that sort of shit.
Apparently, our playtesters did too, killing over 70 million monsters in just 2 weeks. Diablo Immortal is Sanctuary as you've never seen it before. Now, a persistent online multiplayer world, and we can't wait until you get it in your hands. So let's get into it. Next up, Diablo content creator Bloodshed sits down with the Immortal dev team to talk about his impressions of the tech alpha test and to answer all of his questions. And after that, we'll enter the dark and twisted world of the legendary artist Braum to learn more about his Diablo work and what inspires him.
Okay, what was the okay.
What's up, everybody? Bloodshed here. If you don't know me, I'm a Diablo content creator. I love the hell out of Diablo ever since I was a little kid, grinding legendaries all night, way past my bedtime. As an adult, I still do that.
Did this guy just say he was grinding legendaries when he was a kid? That were uniques. That were fucking uniques, bro. They weren't legendaries. This guy's a noob. This guy's a noob, but he's making a Diablo game, boys.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Bloodshed? Should we refer to you as Blood or Mr. Shed?
Mr. Shed might be too formal. We'll go with Bloodshed. It's fine.
Okay, great. Well, Bloodshed, I'm Caleb, the lead producer on Diablo Immortal.
Hey, Bloodshed. My name's Wyatt Chang. I'm the lead designer.
I'm toxic, by the way, when I listen to this shit, chat. Sorry.
Thanks for making this time so we could talk about the game.
Yeah, super excited to kind of delve into Immortal here.
Oh my god, chat.
And you were actually part of the technical alpha, right? You had a chance to play.
Yeah, I played, I think, over 100 hours. I was grinding, yeah. Burning the thumbs and the screen. It was fun. It was a lot of grinding, but I had a good time with it.
I know some people kind of picked a class and went really deep, and some people played a breadth, kind of played them all. What was your experience like?
Yeah, I went through and I played all the classes, all the way to max level, even grinded out a little bit of Paragon in each of them.
I don't really got Paragon
I think
in
my
it, chat.
favorite was Wizard. I spent the most time on Wizard. What was your guys' favorite class?
So my favorite class is the Monk. I love the mobility. I like just getting in and out and like destroying whole packs of mobs together. That feels really good, but I think like in terms of fantasy fulfillment,
I mean, it just looks like Diablo 3, doesn't it, chat?
I just love that it's like the meat potatoes, pop demons with my axes feeling, and so sort of like nothing takes that place in my heart. So
this is Diablo Immortal, so this is irrelevant, but it just says a lot. You know what I mean?
Some kind.
They need to stop hiring noobs that were like casual daddy gamers and get like
some barbarian love.
You know, the actual virgins in, like actual virgins, and they're not virgins because they're like.
I love some of the legendary items
because they're like
barbarian. I got
ugly or something. They're just virgins because they're addicted to the shitty game.
I found that it was every time you use Hammer of the Ancients, it would summon an ancient to fight alongside you. And then I got another legendary item that gave Hammer of the Ancients 2 charges, so I could actually like double up on those, and that was super fun.
Yeah, I had a Twister legendary that turned it into a giant tornado, and that was really cool. I was just running through the Elder Rifts, gathering up all the mobs, and then just using this big tornado. It's like as big as the almost screen. It's a really awesome one. A lot of the abilities I notice have like a dual purpose. Like with Monk, you can kick, and then you can kick off the wall, and then with Wizard, you can place like an ice crystal, and then reflect the Ray of Frost off the crystal, and then just do this big AoE to all the enemies in the area. What was it like designing all that interaction that we don't have in other games?
When it comes to designing the skills for Diablo Immortal, we definitely want to make sure that we're bringing something new. You know, in a lot of ways, it's good when the classes feel familiar, and sometimes it fits like an old glove. People love to have their barbarian with whirlwind and whirlwind through enemies. It's such a classic. People would always want to look for that. It's also really important that we have new experiences, and I think things like the ice crystal and the kick that you mentioned are really important. You want some things that are new, some things that are improved over previous, and some things that are familiar and comfortable. And I think the right mix of all three when it comes to class skills is what lets us have, honoring the Diablo.
Right, Chad, I'm back. Surely this will only go for like 10 minutes, right? And then we'll go for
one thing I definitely want to dive into is the speed, like the progression speed. It really gives me like D3 vanilla vibes where, legendaries aren't dropping left and right. And like everything you get, you're so grateful because you don't get that many items or like crafting materials. Like you're always kind of
I think
thirsty,
classic
really
Diablo 3 was still the best part of Diablo 3.
All kind of planned as pacing. Is
like
what's
people were complaining that they couldn't kill Diablo like instantly. It was so insane to me on Hell. Like you go through Hell or whatever the fuck it was, and people are genuinely upset that you couldn't kill Diablo. Okay. I don't know if these guys went and played Diablo 2 and tried to kill Baal on their first week. If they did that without any help from anybody, my dudes, okay? You would have had the worst time of your fucking life, okay? You build this full lightning sorceress, you go down to the Baal rooms, and there's something immune to fucking lightning down there that just shits on you. You start attacking it and it fucking heals while you're attacking it, okay? You don't know what pain is, okay? You were pussies and you turned the game into a pussy game. That's what you did.
Wizard, I was bummed because I'm like, no frozen orb, like that's so iconic, right? And then I got a legendary that turned it into frozen orb, and I was like, this is cool. Like it kind of makes you think like anything's possible because you can just kind of modify the skills to become other skills.
This actually looks pretty good for a mobile
and
game.
there's something super exciting about finding a legendary that you didn't even know existed in the game. Hopefully we can play it on PC and make a lot. It's almost like the magic that existed during technical alpha. Nowadays sometimes we play. And all the information is available on the internet, and you can look it up. And sometimes you
I
even know
agree
what item you want
on that to an
beforehand.
extent, my dude.
I think one of the things that kind of made the technical alpha special was people being genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
Like, what? I didn't know that this was.
You're in Diablo 2. You're sort of putting your skill points in. Oh, you getting power leveled. You hit 61, and you like accidentally misclick a skill point. And you're like, well. Time to re-roll, boys. I guess we're doing this again.
With a little bit of a slowed down pace of legendary.
Fucking baby bitches. Now they can fucking swap their fucking abilities just by going to town, dude. Little pussies.
I think that's one reason why I had so much fun too in the alpha. Like you said.
It used to have that effect. You'd see that guy. You would go to the loading screen to go join a game, and then this guy would pull in next to you and be like, oh shit, that's the fucking the buff Bob from the the any run we were just doing, because he'd have his fucking stick out or whatever, and you'd know what sort of Bob it is. Okay, these days you go into a D3 game, oh look, it's the fucking the everything Bob that does everything again just there, guys. Nice, cool, dude, man, nice.
Bounties
sick, bro.
Run some Elder Rifts.
So unique.
Was like the break intentional?
Yeah. Oh, great question. It was absolutely intentional. A couple reasons for that. In Diablo 3, greater rifts were great.
People
They're
are
really
addicted
fun,
to
but some
instant
of the feedback that we got was
dude, like,
that people.
I ended up buying my 5th piece of Tal Rush's outfit in Diablo 3, and I was so fucking pumped and excited to just see what would happen. You know what I mean? If I'd get some 5-piece set bonus, or I'd glow and I'd become powerful. I don't think there was even set bonuses. Was there? But when Diablo 3 first came out, I can't remember. Maybe there was. I can't remember. But dude, it was just like, it was so poo. It was so far from Diablo 2. It was just unbelievable.
I want there to be lots of ways for people to meaningfully progress their character all the time, and so we have the gem system.
But it was satisfying, bro. Like for real, I grinded my ass off. Okay, I was grinding the fuck out of that game, and I had to trade and purchase and do shit to get this gear. But it took a while, but I got it, man. And then I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I got my shit, boys. I got my shit. But it was the most underwhelming fucking set, to be honest. It was decent. Like it was decent. I was still, you know, I think I could kill Diablo with it, but it was yeah.
A variety, and there's a lot of variety actually in the game. It makes it so much more enjoyable.
Cool, awesome. I'm glad it's working out. We feel like it's working out pretty well too, and we're looking forward to being able to build on that.
The PvP event is something special.
They give a free sit out every
it's like
season.
the World of Warcraft Gurabashi event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like designing the PvP in the game?
I don't mind the
zooming
power
out a little
leveling
bit,
aspect of
every
shit,
zone
but like
has its own event that's
yeah,
associated
the ease
with
of
it.
ease of
So, for
items just made
example,
everything
in the
weird.
Battlefield, like you mentioned, there's a little arena where a chest spawns and players can fight over it every 3 hours. But over in Ashwold Cemetery, you know, every half hour there's a carriage, a ghostly carriage that comes through, and anyone in the zone can come by and attack the ghostly carriage and partake in the loot. And there's kind of like a different thing going on in the Dark Wood. There's a corruption going on, and then you can, the Tree of Innocence.
Yo, this probably looks better
has a
than Diablo
ceremony where you
4.
can fight a corrupted image of yourself.
This might actually look better than Diablo 4, dude.
A different mechanic. And when we
What
got
the fuck?
to the Battlefield, there was this idea to allow just a free-for-all PvP event, and it definitely turned out to be a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah, I had some experiences there. The first time I showed up, it was like me and like 5 people, and I was all bright-eyed, and I'm like, let's do this. It's gonna be a fun little bloodbath. I found out really quickly that you can group for the event, and it was 4v1, and it was an experience. Speaking of like these zone events, the Ashwold event where you have to like escort this horse and carriage, I believe, through the zone was my favorite one by far. Seeing everybody on the server kind of coming together, fighting over it, and then getting the loot was pretty awesome. Do you guys have any like favorites?
Oh yeah, my favorite is
when
in
is
the
there going to
library.
be a Diablo game where there's a horse and cart where the cart doesn't just like automatically pivot with the horse, whichever angle it's on? Why don't they make a fucking axis on this where it turns like a normal horse and cart? It's the same in WoW, and I just saw it in this too. Is this real life? Why do they hate horse and carts? What is that?
Hydra that everyone in
It's
the
like
zone
the
has to
the
come
horse
together
turns,
kill.
and then
so I
all of a
like
sudden the
randomness
fucking
there, 'cause it
rear is
feels
just
like
on the same angle.
doing it over and over.
The cart.
You could get a different result. And,
Everything else is like
kinda
so
keeps
well
the
done,
excitement
but
up.
every time I
So
see a
one of the
horse,
things
is it a meme
also
in their
new
community?
is our Paragon system, and we were able to design something from scratch for this game with all the learnings we had from Diablo 3. So my question, like, is actually for Wyatt. Like, what was that like designing a new Paragon system?
It was cool. It was cool. We had Paragon in Diablo 3, but once you reach Paragon 800, it became a more sort of just a linear path.
Weirdo to notice.
And being able to say, okay, we know that Diablo
shit.
Immortal is a game that's going to, have a long lifetime. We're going to provide content updates to it. We're going to be adding and expanding on all of the features. How can we design a Paragon system that is exciting now, but will also be exciting years into the future? And that's where the idea of like, well, let's have multiple trees.
Chad, do you feel bad for like developers and community managers and shit that work for a company, make them like $1 billion, but get paid like $50,000 to $100,000 a year or $150,000 a year? Isn't that ridiculous? Like, how insane is that?
In Diablo 3, what was your reaction to the Paragon system?
I was blown away by the choice. I don't know, dude. You can specialize in like 4 or 5 different trees.
Like, I'm over here
and
smelling
then with
like
each tree, there's like these I don't know what they're called, the circle and square nodes within the tree. So there's like traits and other abilities that you can
more
earn.
money than a lot
The
of
circles
devs,
are the ones that give you bonuses all the
blows
time,
my
no matter
mind.
what
It's
tree
painful
you
to
have
watch.
picked as being active, and then the squares are the active specializations that give you a special bonus when that tree is selected.
Like, imagine winning the luck of life of randomly becoming a Twitch streamer.
If I'm doing PvP, I can swap to that
instead of doing the thing you should have done and study and do this shit.
Farming, I can switch to like the treasure hunter tree was my favorite. And then I can get more bonuses doing that activity.
I blame America.
So I guess, for me, being able to kind of control how my character is performing, I mean, I'm all about it. There is a dungeon now where you can kind of go back in time where you fight alongside Koil and you get to hang out with Tel Rasha. It's kind of like a WoW time walking event. Are you guys going to explore this mechanic further? Like maybe we can, I don't know, do a dungeon after the Sin War or something like that?
You know, that is a great call out, and you're spot on with even referencing WoW time walking dungeons, because that's actually how we've talked about it internally as well. Is hey, the library is something cool.
Dude.
Is this opportunity
Another thing stolen
for us
from WoW.
to like dive into the past? We get to see Tal Rasha and Bale, you know, have this conflict and for the player to relive it. And we really love the way that World of Warcraft used the Caverns of Time and time walking to further expand the reach of the types of stories that you could tell. So,
yeah, this is a lot of
no
yapping, boys. Yep.
Something
I just want to watch Diablo 2. Stop yapping.
I noticed that every dungeon has like a cutscene. It feels like a full-fledged, normal, like AAA game. It's awesome.
Well, we have a policy that
chat, like,
that relates.
Consider this though. This sort of announcement is talking about one of the biggest things for Blizzard, and there's 8,000 people watching this, and this has only got 40,000 people watching this. How far have they fallen, dude? This is insane. It blows my mind, like how like people used to be so hyped for this shit.
Because we know we're not holding back. You know, not just because this is a mobile game, we do less. Like we still, you know, just take it to 11. You know, every chance we get.
Speaking about the story and the characters, we get to hang out with Deckard Cain again. What was it like working with him?
Sloan's probably watching. That's why.
Awesome. It was great to be able to bring Deckard Cain back. Being able to work with Michael Goff again. There's a short BlizzConline segment with him. He's such a beloved character in the Diablo franchise, so I'm glad we're able to do that. I love that we're able to visit characters that are fan favorites.
Years of
but,
letdowns,
you know, we want to be, you know, we're not just
years
Diablo on mobile.
It's been like 10 years of letdowns.
And
when
so
did Activision
get a brand new game,
caught up
we've got
in
brand new characters
Blizzard
that we want to explore as well. From Skarn, one of your main antagonists in the game. You've also got Zool and Lethis. We're going to be exploring the storylines behind Vala and Jozen. Vala, go to the Demon Hunter, being able to learn more about her and her history.
15 years ago,
all new stories to explore.
Yeah, I didn't realize
it was a while
how
ago,
much
for sure.
I missed Deckard Cain until I got off the boat, like you said, and I'm like, man.
Was it after Wrath or during Wrath?
He's like the glue of the franchise.
Because I honestly think after Wrath it just got worse and worse and worse. It became very casual-like.
MMO. And one of the ways
you went from not being able to pay
really
to like,
they
wouldn't even let you transfer
like
when WoW first came out.
I don't know if you felt like.
Then it went to like
well, when I first heard about it,
you could pay
like,
for customizations, you know, race changes, just everything, dude. It went insane.
But it's way cooler when you get to play it because you're there and you get to see everybody running by. You get to check out everyone's gear, and it does feel a lot more alive. And it.
Someone has D2, dude. I don't know if I'm gonna get banned for this.
Resurrected is finally here. Let me repeat that. Diablo 2 Resurrected is finally here. D2 Resurrected is a fully remastered version of D2 and D2 Lord of Destruction, now in 4K resolution.
4K?
Original 2D sprite-based models are now overlaid with 3D models. This means at any time you can switch back and forth.
Look at this. Look at how dark and gloomy it is with everything that is happening on here compared to what we just watched. Like, look at this, dude. Doesn't this feel like I'm in a dark, scary place?
Original Diablo 2 you used to know in the HD version. Upgraded visuals include new animations, dynamic lighting, visual effects, textures, images, and more. Additionally, all 27 minutes of cinematics have been remade with cross progression.
Wait, all the cinematics got remade as well?
Start a character on your Nintendo Switch, then move over to your computer and continue playing there. Closed alpha signups are now available on their website.
It still looks fucky how you walk though. It looks funny.
When the alpha will begin. While the original game is not being replaced, the developers have decided to include
like, look at this shit, dude. Look how cool this looks and how fucking scary it is. Look at this shit, dude.
sought after quality of life options for players.
It looks like I'm like
as a
the
shared stash
hex
or
thing on the
auto-rolled
ground and
pickup
shit.
if the user enables it.
Just how the candles
From
are
my
and stuff.
discussions with them, all of the changes
The
I have
lighting
seen
looks
do
so much
not
better as
alter
well.
the game too much and are a positive addition to Diablo 2.
Dude, I can't wait for that shit.
I was very impressed with how much care they had when looking at tweaking certain core
This is
pieces of the
Andariel's, and what's the name?
Taking a
Is this
look at some of the
Andariel?
footage provided, overall, I would say I am extremely
Is he got to get a Stone of
happy with
Jordan?
the
That's the
game's
real
look.
question.
While
Please
not
tell me he gets an
everything is
SOJ.
exactly how I would have imagined it in HD, I believe they kept true to the style of Diablo 2 and even improved the game in certain ways like lighting. Any skill or object that
Mephisto,
emits
though.
light
Ooh, yeah.
looks insanely good in this remaster, and the new darkness is actually better here than in the original.
Ooh.
In this video, I am just showing you a quick run through of the footage provided, but in the future I will be uploading a longer video where I do a deep dive into every tiny detail shown. The developers are still working on this remaster and said they are open to feedback, so any comments or thoughts that the community has, feel free to post them below. I'll be reading through, and I know they will as well.
Yo, even like the reflections and shit on the ground looks so good, man. Like, look at this room, dude. It looks fucking disgusting. Like fucking blood drag down here. You know, even this was like filled with blood. The what was it? Fire or lava? I can't remember. The things around it. You know, those weapon racks and shit on the side. Like they were, you know, getting ready for war and shit. There's just fucking goo hanging off things.
Finally,
it was so cool, dude.
Share the news of this remaster with you all. I look forward to the future of Diablo, and I will see you in hell.
To be able to sit comfortably and play with a Bluetooth controller. We're actually going to be investigating how we can bring in controller support in the future,
29 months,
and we are very excited
Vietnam,
that the community
27.
responded so positively to it. And
To
so nothing to announce today, but definitely look for updates on this in the future.
Yeah, the touch controls are really good. I would use them for any kind of quick gameplay sessions, you know, when I'm out and about
Did
or
one of those guys just
doing
fought?
things. But
Did you
you
hear
know, when
that?
I'm kind of plopping down for
That
the day,
wasn't
it would
me.
be
So
cool
I
to
just
kinda
and it
switch
was
to
either a
controller
fucking
mode and kick
frog
back.
or
Did
one
you
of
guys
these
play
guys
in
just
any
let a fart go.
areas
100%.
outside of your home?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite experiences is being able to just take my dog out for a walk and, you know, play. I was just taking my dog for a walk. I was at a intersection and the PvP event in Balfen came up, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it from here. Super convenient to be able to just play from the park or wherever. I remember Leviathan.
I can't wait till you know, I'm in the middle of this PvP event and then some guy joins my pod and he's like, yo, let's do this. And then he's like, oh, I'm just driving my car at the moment. You know, I'm sort of AFK. I'm sorry, bro. It's gonna have the most worst casual daddy gamers in that. I guarantee it. It's gonna be worse than the AFKs in 5-man dungeons in WoW. They're gonna be on their phone, dude.
On my account.
What kind of stuff did you enjoy doing?
That was actually my favorite thing about Immortal was the amount of activities you could do. There's like these layers out in the open world. It looks a lot better than I thought it would have, though, in terms of like quality, there's a lot, but I think
fidelity,
layers, hunting for layers or like hidden dungeons, it kind of gave me some of those D2 vibes.
What was the max rank normal gem that you got during technical alpha?
Not too much. I think a 5. Does that sound right? I think it was like level 5 for the normal gems.
5 definitely requires that. That sounds like, you know, 10 to 12 hours of grinding a day for a while.
Layers, I mentioned, were one of my favorite kind of activities to do in Immortal. I noticed some of the tile sets look like D3 assets, and are we going to get like a more variety of tile sets and layers?
In technical alpha, we had 2 of those tile sets intentionally, just for that small test. But we plan on adding a lot of diversity and variety to those tile sets. And there should be a difference between what you see in a Rift, which sort of like takes its tile set from a global pool of different things you can see, versus like a layer, where a layer could be inside Biofen or Ashwood Cemetery, and the layer below a cemetery should look different than the layer below a jungle.
Were they in
or
D3 as well? I can't remember.
Or whatever the
Maybe
zone
it's just
is.
because
And so
the
we're
background's
putting a lot of effort to
It
make
should be
sure
in the jungle,
that
right?
there's diversity there and that it feels connected to the world above it.
That's really cool. So if it's like a foresty type zone, the layer is going to have like a foresty, mossy type dungeon to correspond with it.
For mobile game, it looks insane.
I like that idea.
We want you to remember where you are in the surface world as you dive down into the layer, but that by no means limits the amount of diversity.
It literally
and,
looks similar
rich
to
art we're
Diablo
able
3.
to put into each of these tile sets.
Did you expect players to grind so much in general, like with all the Paragon that we grinded and all the gem levels and everything?
There were some people who seriously went ham on it, for sure. Like, it was pretty impressive.
Look at the mob density as well,
I
like
took it as a
mobile. Like, what the fuck?
You know, when people want to play the game that much, it means that we've made something special that people want to enjoy. I think it speaks doubly so when it's a limited technical alpha. It's only going for a short time, and
there's definitely things here and there you can tell a mobile, like the way the text is coming up and shit like that.
And invest time in a character that is ultimately.
When there's no text on the screen, it looks good.
They're just having a lot of fun doing it.
Well, as good as D3-ish kind of.
I was really surprised by how far people got in challenge rifts. Like, to see that was just awesome, because I don't think anyone internally had gotten that far naturally without using some like developer powers. And so just to see in 2.5 weeks people just blowing the dev team away in terms of challenge rift progression, that's cool. That makes us really happy.
Probably got a lot of good data off of it from the alpha, I'm assuming.
We got a lot of cool clips on Twitch, man. Like we just got a lot of great observation, like just watching people play at that high level and seeing what skills they use.
It does look pretty dull. I can't imagine it being played all that much.
Us a lot just watching you guys play.
It's just cool that the graphics are so good on the phone as well.
Players take on the game.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like this on a phone, to be honest.
To see how just your average person walks into the game. We held the test primarily in Australia.
What?
And being able to see, not like the elite top 5%, but just your average person who downloads the game.
Is that because of they did that for Quinn?
The tutorial. How many hours do they want to play?
Hoping he was going to do it, mate.
What percentage of people are coming back? Like, we've been gathering a lot of data, and it's been
look at the card move.
Helpful.
Oh shit, they didn't show it. Damn it.
So I was there at BlizzCon 2018, and
yeah, the visual effects from spells and shit definitely look.
Yeah, that was rough.
A lot less detailed.
For sure. I think
Quinn's
a
an
lot
Australian
of people
dude, trust me.
They had Diablo 4 in the mind.
Trust me, dude.
At one point during the Q&A, it was asked if the game would ever be coming to PC. And
he lives up the road.
I had probably not the best response. And what went through my mind is I really wanted to be able to say, hey, we're making Diablo 4. And that's not something that we could share at the time.
He does look tired.
Remark came out instead. And I am glad that now, hopefully,
even he sounds tired.
There's more Diablo on its way. We have a lot of love for.
He probably has been getting memed for the last
ultimately is to provide more Diablo options for more people.
Yeah, so
I can just imagine how many times this guy's been asked, "Do you have don't you have phones?"
And it was
when
tough.
he's
I mean,
out
really hard,
shopping and shit.
With all the passion at an all-time high from the community. It was tough to stream it, but I always believed in Immortal.
He didn't deserve the hate. Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault for sure.
I was like everybody else. I wanted D4 to be announced.
He was the face of it, but it's
with
just,
all the hints
that's how the world works.
You guys saying that there was multiple projects in the works. I guess that was my glimmer of hope that I was holding to. And so I was able to look at Immortal, I guess, a different way, because in the back of my mind, I knew like Diablo 4 was probably getting developed. But I streamed it, and I regret nothing. It was fun, and I feel like I can tackle anything now.
Cool. Well, thanks for supporting the team.
Yeah.
We got feedback, and I think that really sustained the team through that time. Is for the people who played it at BlizzCon, there was a lot of feedback that said,
whenever anything goes wrong on NoPixel, it's your fault. Yeah, pretty much.
The game kind of spoke for itself, and playing is
pretty much, mate,
for this game. And I'm looking forward to the future where we can get the game in more people's hands so they can see for themselves.
What's next?
He definitely
has
another
testing phase. Like what's
amounts of hair
happening?
We will have a new testing phase, which will include new content for example, a new class. And we're really excited to bring that to a wider audience as well, potentially for a longer period of time. Our previous test was only 2.5 weeks, and so we're looking at our next test as an opportunity to test more endgame systems. And so we're really excited about that, and we'll announce more about that very soon.
So you're saying all the stuff that we've experienced is still not the true endgame?
That's way too happy. Let him be happy, dude. He's probably been working his ass off.
An epic endgame planned for Diablo Immortal, and for the technical alpha, it was very much focused on just that, like, early and mid game.
Even if you'll never play this game,
so I believe we've
ever
said before that like the challenge rift alone is not the sole end game of Immortal. We have a lot.
Someone
more
might.
The level cap of the technical alpha was set at 45. For the release game, we're planning for it to be 60. So, you know, at 45, we wanted there to be something for players to do, which is why we have the challenge rifts. But the tech alpha was really focused on the early leveling experience and the mid-game systems. There are whole new other systems that we still have.
Wait, so they let them level in Paragon at 45
I
and
had
testing?
a blast playing the alpha. I had an awesome time hanging out with you guys today. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, Bloodshed, thanks a lot.
Yeah, Blood, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been amazing to be part of BlizzConline, and I look forward to what's to come.
This definitely wasn't filmed live, chat. That's for sure.
Dolby is a proud partner of BlizzConline. Watch Shock versus the World in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, only in the Dolby Access.
Dolby. You definitely got paid? Probably. Oh wait, what's this? Wait, oh, it's it. Bro. Do these guys have an ad for their own game on Diablo right now? What the fuck am I witnessing? I actually got pumped when I saw this open up though.
Enter my realm.
I remember trying to level after running through that fucking portal. Fuck, I hated that first zone, dude. I absolutely hated it. Having to kill like fucking 10 balls out the front. Bro. Just let me max level. Man, do I play a Warlock, chat? Do we go Warlock or Druid? What was good? I think I mean, obviously Rogue Mage Priest was good at 3s, but Rogue, Druid, Rogue, Druid, and Warlock, and Warrior was good with Stun Herald as well. I honestly think, boys, I want to level a Warrior and go Stun Herald.
Turn your world upside
Season
down.
1 Stun Herald. I think Stun Herald was in Season 1, right?
You are not prepared.
Shut up, first kid. I didn't shit on Classic when I played it. I just couldn't be bothered leveling. Mate, I got Gladiator with like 250 ping, all right? That's how broken Warlocks were. You think I'm not going to get Gladiator with 8 MS? You try and interrupt a 0.5 second cast with 250 ping. Try it. You kill their pet, then they have to do their 0.5 second cast, you interrupt it, and then they die. Oh, I do want that sloth pet though, for realies.
One of the things about Blackthorn that's kind of cool is this is the first time that we actually had orcs.
I don't know if you remember it, but there would be the little bad guys that you fought, and then when they shot you, they would go, ha, 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 ha.
The orcs at that time just became so dear to us also because they were always just there to add a little bit of humor to what was going on in a very dark story.
That's a fun little side note, I think, that many people wouldn't have known, is that the first Blizzard orcs were in Blackthorn. Now, wait a minute, I'm actually thinking I think our first orc might have actually been in Rock and Roll Racing as one of
Yo,
the bad
Mike,
guys
thanks
that
for
you
the 4
play
months, dude.
against. I think it was Bogmire. So, Blizzard and orcs since 1993.
Oh man, you made the orcs. This guy's made it an orc. Oh my god, get this shit off the screen. Show me Diablo 2, bro. The only thing I care about. Please. Please, dude. Easy bad. They have a full-time job, so they're casual gamers. This is some
Hi,
fucking
my name is
creep
Devin
music.
Brom. Blizzard has sent me on a dangerous and harrowing quest into the realms of soggy Seattle to interview the nefarious artist Brom, or as I like to call him, Dad.
Wait.
Hi, my name's Brom. We're here in my studio today to interview one of Blizzard's devious dungeon designers, Devin Brom, or as I like to call him, Son.
Can you talk about some of your early influences?
I think we'll have to start with my background.
Did I play Path of Diablo? Yeah, I think for a little
my
bit.
lifestyle, meaning my
Remastered
father was in
Diablo
Army
2
aviation, so he traveled all
Resurrected
over
is
the
going to be
world.
insanely
We moved every
good.
3 years. The first 3 years of my life was in Japan, where I was subjected to just a barrage of Japanese animation and
Reich is
Godzilla
probably
films,
like
and,
masturbating right now, dude.
That was like my
He'd be so
initial
excited for
inspiration,
Diablo
I think,
2.
for a lot of the drawings and the horror and the
I can
stuff
just
like that.
imagine his
By
video on
moving around so
YouTube,
much,
just
it
fucking
can be very
grinning
lonely.
the
It takes
entire
a while
time.
to acclimate and make new friends, and art was always that friend that was always there. So no matter where I was or how lonely felt, I had art to fall back on. And it also helped with making friends, because as my skill developed and I became, better than most.
He already has a vid up.
There's always a group of geeky fantasy nerds, waiting to draw wherever I went. And then I finally graduated high school in Frankfurt, Germany. And what was so amazing about Frankfurt
Lol,
is I was
Frankfurt.
immersed in, Gothic medieval
I
culture.
eat Frankfurts.
And at that time, I was so into fantasy, so that really, fed into that whole inspiration for what I was doing. On top of that, there were a lot of direct influences. Being a child of the 70s, there was a lot of pulp horror mags and comics at the time. But I think my primary influence is the literature.
Bro, I'd fucking have an anxiety attack if I walked into this room at nighttime. Like imagine you needed to piss. This was the room you had to walk through to go to your toilet.
Was
Fuck
the
that
Elric
shit.
series by Michael Moorcock, and I think he was one of the first.
It's
people
scary,
to really
dude.
put together,
Look at there's a hand over there.
Gothic horror and fantasy.
And then I already know a little bit about this, but could you tell us a bit about Grandma's basement?
Most certainly. Why have I always been drawn to the
Diablo
macabre?
4 actually
even as a
true.
kid, if you gave me a choice of a fuzzy bear, I'm talking 2
That's
years old,
fucked-
and
that's
the skull.
fucked up.
It's like the skull. I have to have the skull.
Oh, hey, Coop, thanks for the 4 years, bro.
Things I often point out
Bro,
that
man.
maybe help people understand this is if you were to maybe go to a group of elementary school kids and give them assignment to draw a toaster, they would all be like, oh, no, that's boring. I don't want to do that. But if you said, I want you to draw a scary toaster, not only does that become interesting to them, but it becomes interesting to us. I want to see their scary toasters. And one of the many things that warped me down the path that I have gone, my grandmother's basement was dug out of the ground, and it was just rocks and dirt, and it was like going into a tomb. It was, there were snakes and spiders and centipedes and all the cracks and crevices. But the basement had one light bulb, so my brother and I would go down there at night, and the game was to turn the light bulb off. And who could stand there long enough without turning it on? And having the over imagination that I have, I always lost. I always felt like fingers and claws were about to get me. I think that's one of the many things that has perhaps warped me and sent me down the path that I am now upon. So Devin, I have a question for you. Devin, can you perhaps tell us a bit about your early influences?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's see, the most obvious would be Diablo itself. It came out, I was like 3 years old, and it was on your computer, like right from the get-go. So I've been playing that pretty much my whole life. So I guess my delve into game design kind of started at like that early of an age, and it never really stopped.
It's amazing how much Diablo has been part of our family from just the earliest memories. I mean, with my first computer, Diablo was one of the first games I played. And then, of course, as soon as we could link them up and play as a family, the whole family.
There are boosts and paid transfers in TBC Classic. When is that going to come out?
What was it like growing up with two artists?
Because if there's boosts, I'll play for sure, dude.
It's funny when you're born into that. You don't really.
I don't think leveling 60 to 70 was all that bad.
Really,
it took a couple of days from memory though.
Your friend's
but they probably got it nerfed.
You realize like, wait, where's all the skulls? Like, where's the battle axe in the corner? You know, like
weapons and skulls. All families should have weapons and skulls. What's going on here?
Around then, when I started realizing that something was a bit different with our family. But no, more seriously though, like it was great. Like I feel like both you and Mom always encouraged me and Killian to.
Wait, did he just say that he played Diablo when he was 3?
It wasn't like
what the
traditional
fuck?
art, just whatever we were passionate about and enjoyed doing. You always guide us in that direction, which was very hard to come by in the more like normal suburban community that we grew up in.
Being two weirdos, it was easy for us to encourage you guys to be as weird as you wanted.
Absolutely.
I would have been like shitting my pants and dribbling on the keyboard.
How you first broke into the industry.
I guess I'll start with the fact that I've always drawn horror and monsters and fantasies.
I bet he's still crap at Diablo.
But when I graduated high school, you know, I wanted to find out a way to make a living at that. So I signed up for a 2-year commercial art school. And unfortunately, what they didn't teach us.
It took 26 hours. Yeah, so if you did 2 like 12+ hour days, you'd get there.
Matter of fact, they went so far as to discourage us from pursuing.
I think I want to go Stun Herald's Warrior Chat and just be the most annoying RNG god ever.
And in some ways, it's true. It was a very small market. So
there was something satisfying about getting your 2,200 shoulders back then as well.
Doing commercial art in Atlanta,
Georgia. You felt cool.
What that meant was
you could unlock cool gear by being good at the game.
Product rendering.
Not just through PvE, but PvP.
I was getting paid to do
that was
art.
The Resilience era, wasn't it? Wasn't that when Resilience came out?
I was so unhappy, why I was creatively so unsatisfied. And of course, it was because I had these monsters that literally needed to get out of my skull. And so I started going back to what I loved, and on my spare time, my non-existent spare time.
Yeah, I played a warlock. I did play, dude. I played some guy's rogue, right? He had warglaives, and like full tier. What tier would that have been? Tier 8, tier 9, I think at that point. Tier 9, I think. Either way, he had like the best PvE gear possible. Like, there's no better gear he could have got. Everything was insane. And to go into arena, with the druid, you could kill the other person without them coming out of stealth. Like. They just wouldn't have time. It was insane how much fucking burst and damage you could do with the gear that he had. It was but if you didn't kill that guy, you die because you're in PvE gear. But like, it was absolutely nutty how much DPS you would do.
Art director at TSR, who does Dungeons and Dragons, might have some work for you. So I sent my portfolio and I followed up with a call, and somehow in the conversation it came out that that they did have.
Bell guards were broken in. Oh, in 5s maybe people would do that.
I need to apply for this. I'm going to come up, and you're just going to love me so much you're going to hire me. And this guy was so nice. He didn't tell me no. He was like, okay.
I only ever played 2s really on my Warlock and 5s.
Show my portfolio, and people, were nice. They had several artists on staff there: Jeff Easley, Clyde Caldwell, Fred Fields, and they were all kind and supportive. But at the end of the day, the art director
Phil Hunter all the way, dude. The debuff and the
considering for this project, and those 11 people,
interrupt was 2 pogs.
Like, oh, okay. So I was a bit demoralized, and I went back to Atlanta, tail between my legs. But I was so passionate and so determined to break into this field.
I played SLSL, not full demo, but I think demo was good.
New York City at that time was where you broke into.
I thought it was more of a 5s thing though,
and that was like one of the places.
But I never ran across many pally/lock teams.
Make or break.
Well, maybe I did. I just remember the lock druid teams because they go for fucking ever.
The U-Haul is packed. All that's left are cats in the carrier and the phone, and I'm waiting for a call from my parents. And the phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's TSR, it's art director. He goes, "Are you still interested in that job?" And I'm like, "Of course I am." And he goes, "Well, apparently the other 10 candidates aren't willing to move to a small town.
Flavor of the month. Yeah, there was Pally rogue teams and shit like that too.
Oh my God, yes.
That still worked
and he
out.
said, Now I understand you're probably in a
Pally
lease, and you
Warlock
have a bunch of work
was
to get out, get done before you can make the move.
Athene did.
About how many
He did
months
Pally
will it take
Warlock.
you to move up
I don't
to?
think. I think he done.
And I
I don't think he done
window at the
Philhunter
U-Haul,
though.
and I said I can be there.
But they got rank 1, so.
And we were 5 hours
I
later.
think in
I was
2s. Maybe they
working
did in
at
3s or
TSR.
something.
That's incredible. All right, so how did you first connect with Blizzard?
So, as I mentioned earlier, Blizzard, especially Diablo, has such a long history in our family. And when I got my first PC, a couple of games on it, and Diablo 1 was one of them. And it just, right from the start, this was the game for me. Soon, you know, I was spending 2 hours a day playing Diablo. I was supposed to be working. So I actually had to ask your mother to hide the CD so I could get work done. I think the big thing I want to say about
I went over to my friend's house to play Diablo. I didn't realize it was even a game. I went there and he's like, oh yeah, play this. I was like, oh what? Dude, I sat there fucking all night playing that shit.
That came through both for myself.
I turned into
and
an
for you as
instant
well.
degenerate.
It's just been a part of our family since you guys were
Yeah, if
little
he's
kids.
playing for 2
How did
hours,
you
he's
first
definitely a
connect with
casual.
Diablo?
Yeah, totally.
Berserk, I think it's the 12
yeah, I've
months.
been playing Diablo
Brian, I think it's
since
the
I was
18.
about 3 years old.
I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I knew that I wanted to get into game design, so after graduating from DigiPen, a couple years after that, when I heard about a opening for the dungeon design team, and that just sounded like the dream job.
Yeah.
So even though I was like, I probably won't be able to get this, I still applied for it, ended up getting the design test and all of that, and when I went in for the in-person interview, I just clicked immediately with the people there. They're all just...
You guys spoke the same language.
Exactly, no, like they've all been playing Diablo for as long as I have and stuff, so it was just really easy to get along with them.
And I find that interesting how, you know, you were intimidated by Diablo, and it's the thing you loved the most, and it's the thing that you knew the best, but you felt like you had to perhaps, you know, work your way up there, but in the end it turned out that the thing you loved most was what you were most qualified to do.
Totally, and yeah, I often think about that too with a lot of the other positions I applied for that I didn't get.
Why am I watching this shit? I'm waiting for the fucking Diablo 2 remastered shit to come up, and I don't know where the fuck it's gonna happen.
Appreciated it as much as they had, but yeah, with this position, it just fit perfectly.
You get up every day and play and get paid for it.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah, that's all I do. Just play the game. Yeah. Could you describe the process of working with the Diablo team?
So in a word,
9 more minutes?
Collaboration. My biggest joy in working with the Diablo team is just the collaborative nature of the whole process. These are the very best concept character designers, game designers in the world, and you know, there's so much talent on that team that they make me look really good when I get to do one of their characters. And as far
First
as,
kid's
you know,
back in
breaking down the
toxic
actual
mode.
process,
He was so
usually,
happy and
what
nice for
happens
like a
is
week
there's a
after
brief,
release,
there's some
and now he's
basic
back in
description
just
of what we want
full-blown.
to
You're like me.
bring to
You're
life
an
in a
asshole,
painting.
dude.
Sometimes there's a lot of concept work already done. Sometimes there's just
That
a
man is an
minimum.
asshole.
So again, that's the part that I really enjoy. And once we build up that character to the point where everybody likes it, then it's handed off to me to do the final paint. And one thing I love about Blizzard is even though we have so many hands working on something, they're really good at letting you put
You
your
think it's a
mark
sword?
and
Should we
your
just ban him, dude?
bit into that piece. So
Why don't we
it's
just ban
incredibly
him?
rewarding at the end of the day to, you know, as a fan, to be working on these paintings that I would love to do anyway, but also to be working with such an inspiring, talented team of artists.
He's
and
not
individuals.
subbed. What a
Could you tell us a
fucking
bit about
loser.
your inspiration for Lilith?
He's
So
IQ
Lilith,
dropped.
they had a handful of designs started, and I just thought they were beautiful. I thought they hit it out of the park right from the beginning with that one. I did some concept work as well, and it went back and forth. So you know, I loved that I was able to contribute on that level. But at the end of the day, I feel the success of that piece, and I do love that piece, which is rare for me because usually I'm not happy
This
when my
movie was
paintings are
fucking
done.
insane. The
I feel
Diablo
success of that
4
piece is
movie was
based
cool as
on
fuck.
the incredible designs I was handed. You know, again, they made me look
That
good
shit
with
was-
that one.
that shit was
Can you
awesome.
describe the process of dungeon design and working with the Diablo team?
Dungeons in Diablo are all procedural. They're all made up of basically these little square chunks of levels. My job as a dungeon designer is trying to sort of balance the pure randomness of a dungeon with the uniqueness and character of the dungeon. If you go too random with the dungeon kind of lacks.
So these are the guys we're going to blame
any sort of feel.
for the
There's
lack
no real
of
story to
darkness
it.
and
If it's
scariness.
just random every time, you never know what you're going to get. And then if it's too unique, it becomes predictable, where if you played that dungeon once, you've played it 100 times basically, and you know what to expect. Again, with that collaborative nature, we're always in contact with
They seem like
dungeon
good guys.
artists, encounter design,
I guess,
and quest design, especially on campaign dungeons.
But you need to make it scarier, goddammit!
Back and forth discussion with the dungeon design team and the quest designers, trying to figure out what the story is there, what we're trying to convey and progress in the story of the overall game.
And I have to say, being able to look over your shoulder from time to time, just seeing and hearing the ideas you guys come up with, I'm just so excited to play Diablo 4. I can't wait.
What's your favorite game, Fresh Kid?
On top of everything, with our family history playing the game, that the group of us will be able to play your levels and just be like, oh my God, this horrible thing, look what this horrible thing Devin's doing to us now, oh my God.
Yeah, it's definitely taking a return to darkness for sure.
Fresh Kid's gonna play it on mobile,
I think
don't
we're
worry.
all very excited about that. But
you can just play it on
can
mobile,
you tell us
bro.
a little bit about your personal work?
I had so many of my own visions that I wanted to get out there that I wasn't able to. So I started writing my own stories, and it just started out with short stories and then they grew into larger novels. But what happened is writing these stories sort of re-inspired my want to paint or draw and paint. It was like when I was a little kid.
You know what he should do? He should write a story about
write a story, draw pictures,
the
and staple it
ground
together
textures.
and make a little book. And
so they become scarier.
I was able to write a story, paint all the pictures, and put it together and make a novel. And I've written 5 novels to date, and I'm just finishing my 6th. It's called Slewfoot, The Tale of Bewitchery, and it's a story about witches set in colonial America.
I'm toxic.
Awesome. I'm really excited for that one. Yeah, I remember reading Lost Gods and absolutely loving like the world building that you put into that and stuff. So
dude, it's down to
really
5,500 viewers.
Okay,
people
so we
already
have a
over
final
it.
question here, and it's
surely people will come in
pretty
for
much
D2.
to both of us. It's about advice to starting artists and for budding game designers. I think we both touched on this earlier, and when we were speaking about.
I'm gonna be real, boys. Though, like, I don't understand how people can be so good at like drawing and painting and creating art, dude. I try to if something is not in front of me and I can draw something that's in front of me, okay. But if something is not in front of me and I have to like use my imagination to draw something, it just comes out like it just comes out so shit. It looks so fucking bad. Like I try to draw someone's face and it's fucking I don't even know, dude. I don't know how they do shading and memorize that in their brain, dude.
Painter.
I try and think about what I'm painting and it starts turning into a fucking echidna shitting out a rock or something, you know what I mean? If I try to count sheep jumping over a fence at nighttime, it'll be like an elephant taking a shit on somebody. And then it turns into somebody jumping off it and doing karate. I don't know how the fuck you can concentrate on that.
Articulating those thoughts will help a lot. If you can, get a hold of game engines like Unity or Unreal.
Why are we linking these
and try
YouTube
to teach
videos?
yourself those. And just start creating stuff. Like it can just be simple prototypes or a more fully fledged game project. Anything like that not only helps you develop those skills, but it also gives you things to talk about during interviews. Like people love seeing
like these emotes,
that you're truly
they are some
passionate about
fucking
what you're
high quality
creating,
emotes. I
and
drew
every
all of them.
project you make is an
Look how good those
opportunity
emotes
for
are,
that.
dude.
All right, so I think that wraps up our joint interview.
I did draw all those
today.
emotes, yeah,
we
except
really
for the
appreciate
Koil
everybody
Mana. That
joining
was
us,
not me.
And I just want to emphasize again, what
the Koil Mana
a
one's good though.
magical
Don't hate on
community
Koil Mana,
Blizzard
dude.
has created, and especially with Diablo, it's brought inspiration to myself and my family, and I'm looking forward to
What
seeing
other
Diablo
emotes
4.
did I make out of mine?
Sweet. Yeah, see you in hell.
I made the ray gun, the area, the Koil 51 head. I made the megaphone. What else are we making here, boys? I made the Koil wows, the Koil FBR, the Koil King.
Probably the most exciting thing about what I get
You
to
can
do
tell
with
by
Blizzard
how
is I
shit the
wake
quality
up
is.
every day
You
and I
just
get to
mouse
make
over them, and if they look lower quality, I made
How
them.
cool is that?
And I
My name
probably
is
made
Anna
them in 5
Rosenberg,
minutes.
And I am an associate software engineer at Blizzard. What I do is mostly behind the scenes.
What is this? Twitch DMCA's Metallica? I don't know if I should watch this. On their own song? What the fuck? Oh my god, dude. What are these guys doing? Oh.
My mouth just dropped. I was so excited, and I couldn't believe that I was going to work on something that millions and millions of people got to see. Blizzard is actually very good about internal mobility opportunities. I started out doing web development full-time on our Battle.net team, and after a year or so, I was thinking to myself, like, there's so many other forms of engineering that I want to explore and look into that I don't think that I want to stay in this track for the rest of my career. So I started looking at our internal mobility program, and I wanted a wider breadth
DMCA
of
though in
technologies to work
2021.
with,
Come
and
on.
I wanted to work more directly with people as well.
Just let us
And
listen
I
to
found
your
this
music,
in one
right?
of our internal mobility posts. I reached out to the hiring manager, and we got coffee, sat down,
Why
and talked about
why doesn't like Twitch just reach out to somebody and they're like, listen, guys, how about this? If we detect any of your music on somebody's stream, no matter for how long it is, like if it goes for 3 to 5 minutes, we pop up a little ad and it says purchase here. And it directs to their website, you know? It goes to whatever their website is, whatever they want it to be. Spotify or fucking, I don't fucking know. Some money sort of thing where they could actually buy the fucking song. You know, I get that if it's like a radio show, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. But if it's just somebody playing a game, you know, doing normal IRL shit, they just need some shit like that. I wouldn't give a fuck if something popped up on my stream and people could
Let's
buy
make it
it.
happen, and he puts it on the schedule, and he sets me up for success. I think
Surely
that
there's
Blizzard
companies
has a
out
lot
there
of
that want money
opportunities to
from
get
us.
involved in the
It's
community
free
and
advertisement,
culture,
dude.
and
Literally
really
free
making the games
advertisement.
industry a better place, and not just the industry, but for our players and our communities as well. I'm a part of one of our diversity and inclusion efforts, the Differing Abilities Council, where we focus on accessibility and working with.
There's no way Twitch couldn't pay for a license and then do some advert like that to, you know, pay it off. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way, dude. Absolutely no way.
Work with the people, being able to work on something you love, being able to make a difference as well in the community, I think is so important. I love working here. It's really cool.
when are you gonna
and I
stream
wake
next,
up
little
every day
pussy?
excited to go to work, and that's really special.
I want to gift like 1,000,003 subs. And then make my chat do it.
I love Brahms' work. I mean, it gives me nightmares, but... And who can forget the iconic Diablo 2 box art with the Dark Wanderer staring
How does
directly
DW
into
gotta
your soul?
talk shit about Twitch?
But
He
that
doesn't even
brings
know how
us
to
our
turn his
surprise
Twitch on.
announcement today. Diablo 2
Loser.
Resurrected. After 20 years, the genre-defining legendary game is back, but now as a full HD remaster. That's
all right, here we go. Here's the good
4K
shit.
visuals, 7.1 sound, and a shot-for-shot remake of all the cinematics. It's been a great partnership working with Vicarious Visions on the game, and we're so glad they're now officially part of the Blizzard family. So to give you more info on D2R, I'm very excited to have D2 speedrunner and content creator Mr. Llama host a roundtable with members of the development team, both Blizzard and VB, as they answer all his burning questions.
Dude, if they brought this team on and they're already releasing it with the expansion, they got to be doing more, right? Maybe this is going to be like a full-time-ish thing. Like they got to add actual expansions to D2.
All right, we're gonna watch the video sent to us.
You can tell already by the voices in the background being Diablo 2.
Wait, we got Kane back? Oh, it's 2. It's 2. It's Diablo 2 remastered. It's Diablo 2 remastered. Come on. Come on.
Can we ban DW for not liking money? No, but we can
Show it
suck
to
his
me.
toes.
this be our darkest hour, it may yet
There we
be
go.
your greatest moment.
I knew it was there somewhere. Somewhere out there I knew. Somewhere out there. Yo, sick. Ooh, love the campfire. Oh, that multi-shot looks awesome.
Dude, the shading and everything does actually look sick. Man, the lighting is so good though.
Yo. And console. Okay. All right. That'll be interesting.
I mean, they're showing
that leap
everything,
attack was
dude. Like,
awesome.
it must be close to done, surely.
Oh. Oh, the
So-
Diablo fight is.
The Necromancer is there, so they must be releasing it with the expansion already done. It just must be straight into X-Pack.
Oh, come on.
So that was super exciting. I'm Mr. LMSC. I am a Twitch streamer. I have been playing Diablo 2 for 20 years, streaming it for 6 years. I probably have over 25,000 hours in this game and just absolutely love it. So seeing the remaster happen, I have to just, of course, ask a very first high-level question. Why the remaster right now?
Well, Diablo 2 is a very special game to Blizzard, as many of you well know, and Diablo 2 also had its 20th year anniversary. So with that, we really wanted to stay true to what that authentic experience was for Diablo 2 and bring it to the current audience and improve it for the existing audience and invite new people
Assassin
to
Druid were expansion. Oh,
experience
you're
it for the
right,
first
actually.
time. It's also a good
Wait,
learning
were they? I thought
opportunities, too,
Necromancer
for
was
us,
one of the.
especially
Oh,
when we're
the
partnering
Necromancer
up
was the
with Vicarious
expansion in
Visions now
Diablo
to
3, wasn't it?
work on a remastered project like this together.
So it's been a great partnership. We've actually worked with Blizzard for a while now, a couple years, even starting with some BattleNet integration type things. We just finished Tony Hawk remaster. Before that, we did Crash Bandicoot remaster.
These guys
and
remade
it just
Tony
seemed
Hawk.
like
They're gonna be
a
good.
perfect match for us to work together.
It was a shock to my
Yo,
to my
the thing
system
is
to...
the fact that Blizzard have signed these people on makes me think, what are they gonna do next? What if these guys remaster like Modern Warfare 2 or some shit like that? Now that it's like an Activision zoink, you know what I mean?
Hear
Like
more
Call
about
of Duty. Oh no, they already did
how
Call of
you
Duty
came
4,
up
didn't
with the
they?
process for what
I wonder
how you
what
want
they
to
must be
remaster
making this
the
into a
look of
more
it,
of a
right?
thorough
How
game,
you
surely.
wanted it to visually exist, and I'd
Oh, they
love
did
to bring
Modern
in
Warfare
Chris
2 as well?
Emerald to talk about some of that. Chris,
What
can
would they
you
do next?
discuss a
StarCraft,
little bit of
maybe?
the philosophy and the design decisions around
Dude,
this remaster?
StarCraft, boys.
So luckily we had a ton of like good inspiration from the original D2 art. Our primary focus is always nostalgia, right? We want to make sure we focus on getting this right and deliver an authentic experience that players remembered from 20 years ago. Every choice we make with the art, with the models, with the environments should
Wait,
really
they did
ignite that
StarCraft
nostalgia,
remaster? Where?
and then reinforce that
were
emotional
these like
connection from the
retextures or
original
actual
game. But then we
like
came
full
up with,
remasters, like this sort of
70-30
shit?
Visual guide. 70%
Where it looks
is
like it's
basically the
fully
classic.
redone.
This is where we don't touch. We don't touch what works, right? We want to maintain those iconic shapes, colors, tones. Everything should be one-to-one and faithful to the original. We want things to feel authentic and preserve those original designs. With the 30% new, like that's kind of like where we're going to elevate that art. Every change we make should really signify that step forward visually.
I also noticed that the game was 3D, and can you talk a little bit about a discussion or how you moved and some challenges moving from 2D to 3D?
Well, I mean, evolving from a 2D sprite game, like a 2D image game, to a 3D is very challenging. We basically had to write a complete new PBR renderer, so a physically based renderer on top of the old game logic. It's difficult because
Oh shit! So it
you're
uses
dealing
the
with,
old
you know,
game logic
models
then.
versus 2D sprites, where you have to basically write. You have
So it
dynamic
will
lighting,
feel a lot
you
like
have
the old
dynamic VFX.
game.
Like a lot of that is an additional system that we have
That's
to
pretty
work
cool.
out on our end.
So the follow-up to that question, I suppose, is I wasn't able to see
What was it?
any
We need
items when I was
110%
watching that
cast rate,
trailer.
boys.
Are all of the items also going to be remastered? All of the
Biosource.
gems, all of every single piece of this? And what sorts of
Was it 120? What was
flavor did you
the
decide to
breakpoint? We got to work all this shit out again.
Everything because everything has to drop
full
in the
turbo
game. So
node.
you have your icon art.
Oh, that looks
and then
fucking
you have
sick,
your
dude.
3D space art that flips, right?
Oh my
So
god, I'm excited,
everything.
chat.
And as far
Look
as
at the charms,
we actually
baby.
were inspired by some original documentation that we found from Blizzard North, where there was a huge Word doc of like where the original artists pulled inspiration from. So a lot of that was
105, yeah, that's what I think that's the
historical
break point you get to then.
locations.
200 was like insane, but you lose too many
So
stats.
that's kind of where we kind of pulled our inspiration as well. We wanted that functional design that the original art had. Everything felt like it was believable, and that detail really does help to give it some realistic context and makes you feel more immersed in the game. Like it makes you feel like you're part of this world when you can see every little buckle and strap.
I remember when we went into the tavern and there was garlic hanging from a beam, and we're all like, what's the garlic? And this is all full 3D everything. And then they're like, oh yeah, there was garlic in the old game. We go back and it's like 4 white sprites, and you're like, holy cow, yeah, garlic, and there's hams hanging and everything. So it was really cool to see it almost for the first time.
And it's funny because original SD, it was made in all 3D. So we actually came across a bunch of screenshots that were a different camera. Like it wasn't the isometric camera. It was like either marketing art or something else, or maybe just exploration. But there was shots of that garlic in the original art. You could never really see it in the pixel art, but it was there. And so it was telling that they were really trying to achieve something very very grand with this art.
I'm not gonna lie, I never knew that they had garlic hanging in there. I mean, maybe a couple white sprites. I thought they were maybe candles, or who knows.
I hope they go into that depth with everything, so
but
it
that
really
makes me
feels
excited
like
to go look around now and just
Diablo did.
explore all of the areas in the game, just to look at the
Rub
new
the garlic
detail
all
art
over
and
you
see
so
what
the
works.
Well, you see it now
vampires
too,
get you,
because
mate.
also we have the one new feature for the art on the art side of things is the zoom camera. So it'll help you get in there and look at all the details. It was something that I really felt strongly that a lot of
how
RPGs that
good
come
does
out
the
now all
lighting
have
look
a
when
zoom
you
feature.
cast?
This will really get you up
Like
and
the
close and personal
lighting
with, your
around the
armor,
abilities
your
is so cool.
weapons, everything, the runes.
Another way to look at it too is our legacy toggle feature, where you can flip back between the old visuals of the game and our current visuals. It's not even just a simple art swap. It is really the old game running underneath, because like Chris was mentioning, our new art engine our graphics engine is running on top of the game.
This is so sick, dude.
And is
that
mimicking
they're doing it
what
like
is
this.
running underneath.
It's
still
actually going to
following all
feel
the
just
same
like
data
it
and
used to.
rules and timings of everything. So we are still being true to that 25.
Let's just hope they
frames per
rewrite the
second of
fucking
what the
servers
game
so we don't have to,
is
deal
underneath,
with
but
everybody
rendering it
duping
in a way that
everything.
has more frames per second.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that specifically, because when I go into Diablo 2, I'm thinking 25 FPS, and like you said, the game is built on that. My faster casting, my hit recovery, all of this stuff is built on 25 FPS. So how do you create a game that's 60 FPS?
So all of the logic and how the game talks with the server and everything like that runs on that cycle, and that hasn't changed. So we still have benchmarks in all of our content, say for animations of when a hit frame occurs, how long it can recover, and all of that. That all matches exactly. Now it can run at a faster frame rate, and so modern games run on time, not frames. So we've done
this is
that.
good.
But all of the logic still runs on those same things. So you can
this
wait
isn't
for
necessarily
your
bad.
breaks to occur. All of those things still happen at the exact same. And that was through no small effort, but
This
but
just means it's going to be like Diablo 2, but just
see it right away.
It's going to feel like Diablo 2, but it's going to look like Diablo.
We've done that on lots of areas. So, for example,
a
the
bit of
original
Diablo.
game only had so many sprites to render your rotation. So you'd have your character, and they're rendered out at so many angles, and the monsters even less. But you could actually walk at greater directions, right? You have, I think it was 64 different squares around you that you would path to, and you'd have feet sliding. We've increased that, so now there's more granularity. Obviously it's 3D, your character can run straight, but underneath the hood, I mean, this is a game made back when the inspiration was tabletop games, and so the game is a grid, so it still respects that grid, right?
That's cool.
Like on the controller will still allow you to move small amounts because you push the stick a little bit, but it's still, you're either in a run state or a walk state. Stamina's still a thing. You're still on a grid. Like all of that logic
stamina
once
as
again,
well, chat?
is all being driven by the old
Damn,
game.
dude. I forgot about stamina as well.
Rob was mentioning animation.
That's gonna be so cool.
Is also like it was very challenging because you only had a few of the frame counts to make that animation. So it wasn't like a modern game where you have tons of different keys to make it very fluid animation. But we had to really like maintain that timing, that pace. The posing was a big focus for us too. We wanted to get those iconic
I feel like they're
poses for
gonna
each
say
character.
something is gonna release
and then just align that
at
silhouette.
the end of
So
BlizzCon.
continuing the talk of
And
visuals,
it wouldn't surprise me if
I
something
wanna
like
talk
this
about
is going to.
characters, cosmetics.
I mean, they didn't
how
give a
they look,
date,
'cause I know
but
something
maybe they'll
that I
leave
love
it.
with Diablo
Do
2
they usually give
is
you the
just
dates later?
Putting on,
like,
a
what do
scale
they
mail,
do here?
Putting on a full plate
I
mail,
don't.
putting
I
on
haven't
a
watched
sacred
BlizzCons
armor,
all that
and
much,
seeing
to be
the
honest.
character like have the different change and all of that, but some things still don't like reflect over in the color of it or whatnot, right? Some do, some don't. Is there going to be changes there, or is it just enhancing all of those visuals and making them just look even cooler?
So our goal was to basically be one-to-one with parity with the original game. So we built every piece of armor that was in the original game.
Yo, it
is
looks
now
so
in
good
the
though.
remastered
Like
version.
obviously,
The only
it
difference
doesn't
we
look as
did
good as
is
D3,
with
but
the
it
icon
doesn't
items.
matter.
So we actually now we have
It looks good enough,
more
mate. Just 60
connected,
FPS and like it feeling
visual with
fluid
the
is going to be so
icon
good.
and the item that drops in the game. Where
Is that the
before you
Hellslayer?
had,
Is that what
you had
that axe
different
was?
visuals. That's really the only thing.
I can't remember the names of things.
Modernization.
Yeah, so like shields or weapons, a lot of the unique items that you find in the game had special kind of icon arts, right? And that is something we're actually going to be showing on your character.
Yo, that guy looks fucking
definitely
sick,
excites me. I
dude.
think that's
The
something a lot of people would
necromancer.
love to see, a lance guard and have the cool stuff actually on.
Yeah,
their
it did say it's going to be
It
4K.
will be the same model you see on those icons.
Are we going to see remastering of the cinematics in the game?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Yep, the entire full 28 minutes or whatever is going to be all remastered with new high fidelity art.
Honestly,
it's gonna look amazing,
if you didn't play Diablo 2, just the cinematics alone are gonna fucking captivate you and immerse you in this fucking disgusting world. Okay, that was so fucking
Well,
good.
as we've added additional, surround sound features. There's more ambient. There's more effects going on. It's just a richer experience if you want to play with your, full setup. However, we have to use that measured hand.
Voice
as well
acting,
with
yeah,
audio.
Baal
There's
and
just a lot of
Mephisto.
very,
Oof.
very iconic
Fuck, it was
sounds
so
that
good.
we
Same
really
with
couldn't change,
Kane.
right? Like, if you put a
Just the way they
skull
talk
into
and
your
stuff on
inventory,
some of the
that pop
videos was so
noise,
good.
we
Fuck
really
yeah, this looks so
Don't
good,
change
chat.
my skull sound.
Exactly, right? So yeah, so there are certain things you're gonna, you'll hear for like your footsteps running will have some variety. When the rain kicks in, it's gonna have a lot more depth. When you go to the jungle, you'll hear a lot more life in those, trees. But yeah, there's just some sounds we couldn't mess with, right?
With Blizzard,
I feel like
when
these
we're
guys should have been the
creating new
ones that
games,
made
one of
Diablo
our
4.
Design philosophies is to what we call find the fun. And when we were looking at D2 again, we very much felt like the fun is still there. So it's actually one of our core pillars for Diablo 2 Resurrected specifically was to keep the fun and keep it at its core. And because of that, we're looking at it more as a remaster at that point, and like what can we do based on what the community wants or what features naturally are necessary for making this game run on modern day systems and things like that.
I think also we want to thank and appreciate the fan base, right? This is
Ray
this
tracing,
is really
please,
a true
bro.
nod to the original game. We want to preserve that game and the structure of that game as much as we can. And if we went with the remake, it would be a completely different game. So I think that was the reason why we chose this.
Speaking, from my experience or from some of my community's
So with
experience
Diablo
and,
2,
the
it was very
discussions we've
painful to
had,
use
we
abilities in
definitely
terms
felt
of like changing through
with
stuff.
Diablo 2, a remaster just seemed like the way to go because there's so
I
many, like
imagine
you said,
they're
there's
gonna
so
make
many of those
skill sets
tiny
a little better.
details within the game that create overall, when you add them up, create such a big part of the experience of the game. And remaking that into a new game could be a challenge and could also be a challenge in
I'd pay
keeping
$500
the fun of the
for this,
game in
alright?
that way. I kind of look at it a little bit like
I already bought it.
StarCraft
I was like,
Brood
yep,
War, which
we
also
in.
had a remaster, and how it's like a lot of the pathing bugs and the, you know,
they'll probably just allow more like
all of these things in the game that were.
So how it used to work is you'd have to press the bind and then you'd right click to cast it. So what they might do is make like an auto cast. So if you just press the bind, it will cast it, but leave it in the same sort of system. You know what I mean? So essentially just a smart cast in a way.
Kind of the same idea, right? You got to keep some of those difficult details.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did that.
Creating, you know, the overall experience that we all know and love.
Yeah, we also felt that, like, you know, for a game during its time back in 2000, you know, based on limitations, or everyone was still looking at strategy guides or just limited internets, it led to that kind of typical game design you see where there was a lot of mystery and discovery. So we felt like that was another part of, like, you know, part of keeping the fun.
I don't think it would be bad if they made some sort of different end game jump
as well.
So
because they've hired these guys, so it sounds like they're trying to make an actual game out of it.
Possibly changing. What are the pieces?
And there'll be probably be seasons and shit as well.
Or if it's easier
ladder
to
resets,
explain
whatever.
the other way, what are the pieces that were really changed to bring this remaster to life?
So at its core,
I'm not sure about the VNet lobby, but I hope so.
So right away,
that's a lot of what was cool about
the
Diablo.
monsters you see on this spawn rates,
We need the purple
item
gem back,
drops, and
boys.
things like that are the same. And what we're doing is trying to take any of the rough edges you see, compatibility issues, resolution issues, and obviously the art, improving the arts as well. All these kinds of things you come to know from a remaster, but still maintaining very much what the game is. So,
and when it comes to the features we added, this is probably the biggest area where we scrutinize so much. Is this addition straying too much? You know, does it still create the same gameplay experience and other things like that? So,
mate, as
things
long
like
as I
a
can
shared
duel,
stash.
okay,
we
you're
know
good.
people use mule characters, right? And so adding a shared stash, we felt was the right choice. When it
we have a shared stash.
We have a shared stash.
Yeah. We have a shared
Oh, thank God.
Dude, there
Now,
were
the
so
way
many people
the
that got
shared stash
scammed
works
because of
is
no
there
shared
are rules, right?
stash.
You can't have your ladder characters mixing a stash with a non-ladder character, and you can have your offline characters.
Oh man, I want to play this so bad,
use your
dude.
online.
I just want to
But
play with
for the most
charms,
part,
chat.
we're like, people
Not
do this
dupe
anyway with
shit.
a mule character, so it's okay to give them this.
It's gonna be
feature.
so
That
good.
is like the greatest feature that you could add.
Added some
because
risk,
there's
bro.
nothing worse than
You
opening
join
up
the game, a duel
going
game,
in,
you
dropping
transport to
all your
like
GG items to
Act
mule
3,
them
drop
over
it on the
'cause you run
ground
out
and
of
come back
space,
in and hope it's still
and
there.
then not being able to log back in, or the game's not created, or it didn't perm in time, and losing all of your gear, or trying to find someone to help you transfer your gear over. Because oh my gosh, a shared stash is amazing. Thank you so much. That's such a help.
Like I said, maintaining the core was a thing, but the other aspect of it was to see where we can improve, right?
Oh,
so
the
shared stash
rooms,
is one of
baby.
them because we saw it as a very common concern, especially around muling, which people had workarounds anyway, right?
Man, I'm so
that is
pumped for
one
this.
thing. Another example is we are reimagining the UI in the game. With a new reimagined UI, we're still trying to stay very faithful to what you come to expect. So you'll still have the classic globes on the HUD screen, the skill icons, the potion belts, and all that. But we are reorganizing a little bit. You know, we're trying to integrate the menu buttons and the stamina bars closer together within the HUD, so it's built a little bit cleaner. And naturally with reimagining a UI, we have some liberties to add a few things. So going back to the information I was talking about, a big thing we're doing on the character screen is we're adding an advanced stats screen as well. So we're going to be showing you all the information you get from items as well. So you don't have to do that kind of math with like looking at each of your items and calculating how much magic find you have, for example. It'll all be like summarized right there for you.
Something that we've seen already in a lot of mods where they've gone ahead and taken that information and created a little screen. So that's really nice to see that you guys are implementing that as well. Because yeah, I don't think anybody like sitting down and counting up the magic find of every specific item, you know, and all of their charms and all of everything to figure out what is the number, how much do I have.
We've also added auto gold, so you can opt in. It is a feature you can turn off, which is one of the things we have to be careful of. You know, a handful of other things where we're like, if you want this, you can turn it on, but you can also keep it off. This was actually something that we started looking into when
What's my opinion on the old D3 marketplace? I made money on that, dude. I was a fucking degenerate, so I think Diablo 3 was in a better spot with the trading and the real money auction house than it was afterwards with bind on pickup and
just plug a controller in,
you know,
for
just
accessibility
no
reasons,
dueling and
for
shit like
might be
that.
the way you want to play.
I really think it was a much better experience
Like,
when it
for
was
example,
harder.
And there's still an inventory grid. There's still inventory Tetris.
You know, you could trade.
That's core to what Diablo 2 is, right? Taking that away, it starts to become, something different.
And I love that. I think that's the perfect way to really introduce it, because you're going to have that split in the community. You're going to have half the people who say,
we might be
just
getting
give
that
me
though,
auto gold.
Fruit Dog.
It's 2020. I don't want to worry about having to pick
I don't think
up
they
every
need to
individual
make a
gold
new
stack.
engine for it to
But then you're
be
going to have
successful.
the opposite side of purists who go,
they can just add
"Don't
more depth
touch
to it in the
this."
future.
Like,
I really
that
think they'll add
completely changes my
expansions to
game
this, dude.
experience. And you know,
if it takes off and
speedrunning
people
through the
play
game
it,
or playing through whatever,
100%
I want to
they'll
be
add
able
more
to
expansions to it.
go over and pick up the gold stacks and take that time, and
Or at
that's
least
more
one,
part
maybe.
of the Diablo 2
Hopefully.
experience for me. I want to jump back to features in a second, but before we do, you just brought up console play, and I feel like we have to jump into console, the decision for console, and how you're gonna make that work. You already talked a little bit about like auto gold, having that to be a little more accessible, but when I think of Diablo 2, I think of a mouse going and clicking everywhere and how does this work on a console?
To say it wasn't a challenge would be a bold lie. So there's a couple things. For the most part, the game thinks you're still using
if I get to play versus console,
that was almost a rule we
I'm gonna
kept,
get a fucking trap assassin, okay?
That
I'm gonna get that knockback ability. I'm gonna put my traps down and just spam that little bitch into oblivion until they die.
Experience. But we did want to make it more accessible, bring it to a modern audience. I mean, there are people who were born after this game came out.
Telekinesis or whatever the fuck it was.
Them to enjoy it.
You know, you stun them and they just cut Mind Blast. Is that what it was? Yeah, it was Mind Blast.
Just more modern titles that could use a controller.
Whatever the fucking
also from an
stun thing was,
accessibility
dude.
of just allowing you to
I'll
plug
just
in a
fucking
controller
ruin them.
helps for many other people to get to
Nice
enjoy
console,
the game.
bro.
The biggest thing I think that we are, the two big things we'll say. One is you're changing the way you play the game from being kind of an eye in the sky and telling your hero what to do.
Yo, we're gonna
by
have to bring
clicking
those
on
scams
areas.
back too. So what you could, we'll talk about it after, okay?
Right, because you're doing the pathfinding and things like that, which creates some very interesting things.
It
For
looks so good
example,
at 60
the
FPS,
sorceress's teleport is meant to teleport to wherever you click. So in that area, when you're playing on the console, we will have a kind of a default distance that you will teleport to, whereas on the PC, you can click wherever you want. Same with Barbarian's Leap, although that one's interesting because it levels, but it's become a very, very fun challenge. Like, I'm a necromancer and I need to target an item on the ground that has a certain keyword. It's working so far, but you guys will be the ultimate judge of that.
Console noobs. Fucking be teleporting in circles around them, boys.
Back and forth, play testing, and
Dude,
things
it's gonna
like
be
that.
so easy to destroy people on consoles.
A big challenge we had.
I hope they allow
categorizing, all
PvP
those
flagging
300
still.
character skills,
I'm gonna join every
to see how each
goddamn
of them
console
really
run
play
I
to
see and
what
just
challenges
delete
there were,
everybody,
and,
dude.
like Rob mentioned,
I'll be so toxic.
The Necromancer Iron Golem is a favorite of ours to continuously talk about because of the various ways it can target. Also, like a sorcerer's telekinesis is another example.
Watching the trailer, we see the assassin and druid at the campfire. We see a druid casting tornado.
Kiki!
I have to ask though, even still,
The Amazon looked like
this
Kiki.
includes Lord of Destruction, right? This is going to be a full encompassing remaster.
I don't know
and
if it
not
is going to be
just classic or
cross-platform,
just
to
a
be
piece.
honest.
That's correct. Yeah, we are going to be including both the base Diablo 2 and the expansion Lord of Destruction as well. And
Yeah,
we're
3
even,
2020s. Good luck
keeping
getting
the
them
mode of playing
without
non-expansion character as well.
You'll be
right?
lucky
So
to
you
get
can
one in
still
your lifetime,
play a
mate.
Classic barbarian, for example, and things like that.
If ever.
Okay, awesome. Because that was something I was also going to ask was, will there be classic mode? Because once again, when you go to the purist, you always have the people
Out of
that
all
go
the
back
time
all
I
the way,
remember
and they're
playing,
like,
I think I got
"Classic
like
is
a
pure, and that's it, and I
270,
won't play
19
anything
or
else."
something like
Yeah, it was
that.
very much a mode we wanted to keep. Even based on popularity, it might not be as much, but it's still a part of the game, and it still leads to interesting ways of playing too, right? A lot of it's even data driven too. So
I found
like
four.
a
Thank
lot
you.
of the reasons to
Yo,
keep
this
it
guy
were pretty clear
counting,
to us.
bro.
Like, let's make sure we're not taking something away. from
Me
this
and you need to
remaster.
duel to
I'd
the
love to
death,
go ahead
all right?
and start talking about some of the other features, or continue talking about some of the other features that you had mentioned before, because hearing each of these already has gotten me so excited for this game. And so what are some other little things that you felt could be changed?
You found
Wouldn't
one
change
stone in
the
Jordan?
whole flow of the game, but just improve
I would have
it.
found a couple of
One thing we're looking
SOJs.
into is
SOJs
making
weren't
it
that hard to
easier
come by,
interact
I don't
with
think.
your stash, so having quick keys
I mean,
to move
it depends
to
if
your
you
stash is
ran
one thing versus
Andy
like
a lot
dragging
or
the
not.
mouse to every time you want to move something to your stash. Other things we're looking at as well
Finding
are,
some of the runes, though?
like an item comparison tooltip. So in case you're looking at some
Yeah,
other
I don't know,
item,
man.
you
I
can-
can't really
you can
remember.
hold
But the
shift
+2
or
skill
whatever,
helmet, not the
controller
Shaco,
button
the crown of Baal that
mapped,
drops
and then you
sometimes.
can see what equipped items you have just for quick
That
glances,
was
things like that.
that was
The
that
item
was pretty
comparison
crazy to
is a
get.
great example of us adding it, but added it with a measured hand. So we don't suggest any gear for anybody. The gear in
Made
Diablo
2000
2
of
is
D2
so
JSP, bro. I made
quirky
more
and
than that on
different, and
Diablo 3
every
easy.
class can use everything that us recommending
Buying shit
things
with
like
gold,
that
selling it for
actually
money
was
over
more
and over and
confusing to
over.
people. So you literally
Yeah,
hold
Crown
shift
of
and it's like,
Ages.
here's what you got
And you could
equipped,
get, if you
here's
got
what
2
it is.
sockets, it was
I think
like
that's the great
insanely
way to
good.
do it with Diablo 2.
Yo,
Because I agree.
thanks
I
for
mean,
the tier 1, by the way,
I think
dude.
that's one of the best parts about Diablo 2. The items are so fantastic, so unique in their own design.
It either
that
come with a 1 or 2 socket.
It would be
If
near
you got a 1
impossible
socket, it
to
was like
have
nothing.
a
It was just like
tooltip
meh.
that could
But if you got
actually
the 2
recommend
sockets,
one or the
ooh.
other, you know, because it's all so
Ooh.
unique to every situation and character and skill build and everything.
We added 5 more languages, so that's a feature to a lot of people who speak those other languages. The whole front end is pretty much modernized now, so your character is much bigger front and center right in the beginning, and you'll have a backdrop of whatever
hell
act you're
yeah.
in. So that's all been streamlined.
Man,
You
this
can
looks so good,
still,
dude.
You know, play online or offline, but that flow has been improved.
So, what are your favorite changes that each of you have within the game so far?
There's a lot of fun. It's fun to see a lot of the art come to life with our new visuals. So for me, one of the things I've been waiting for since like first starting on this game was to see that character creation campfire scene come to life in our new arts, and I'm really happy to see how far it's progressed, and I love seeing that.
I know this is
It's
fucked
just
up,
such an
chat,
iconic
but I think this
moment.
guy
It's the first
shaves
thing
his
you really
beard
see
with
in
his
the game
head on
before
the
you
angle
get
that he has it
started.
on now. Because it looks
It's
straight there, but
it's amazing.
and when he puts his head actually straight, the left side
so
is
we
like
added,
an inch
Rob
up higher than
mentioned,
the
we
right
added
side.
like an act-specific screen in the front end.
I think he has his head on an angle when he shaves,
a large
my
screen
dude.
where we have like a diorama of each act, and it's amazing to see because it feels like you're really there. Like you can see the detail, you can see every aspect of the scene, and like it just has that very immersive feeling.
It's modern
to it.
art, hell
so that's
yeah,
probably my
dude.
favorite part.
I think mine is a little bit more squishy. I think our game has gotten a little scarier. I think that there are certain areas in the game where just the way that the 3D lighting is and the way the sound is, and I play it on a big screen TV sometimes, and just it feels scarier, it feels creepier, a little more claustrophobic in certain areas. That's not just one feature, there's a lot of things going on there, but I think it's really, really cool. I would like to hope that had the original creators had the tools we have today, it's the experience they would have wanted to make.
Yeah, I think the lighting really helps with that too, because we're a 3D game. That's one of the biggest differences between the original games. So what the game had before with the sprites,
Look how
with 3D
funny
models
it
built into sprites, was not a true real-time lighting system. So because we're pushing that with a 3D graphics engine running on top of the game,
Oh my
and getting
God, it
actual
looks so
3D
good.
lighting inside of those kinds of caverns and corridors makes for a very interesting experience now, because it just feels more immersive with having light react around you like that.
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, I've only seen the trailer piece you sent me, but even from that, just seeing like down in the tunnels or the sewers or, any of those like you said, cavern, dungeonous zones.
This is so weird to watch without the map
was
on.
darker and brighter, and then things like the skeletons with the fire.
Oh man, it looks so
It just
good
had
though.
like this different, I agree, creepier feel. So I haven't seen much more than, or anything more than you guys showed me, but there was definitely a different feel to the game, and I loved the fire the most. I think just watching like the sorceress meteor.
Oh, that
was
looks cool, man.
Gorgeous.
Fire and lightning, once we got all the effects up and running, that was definitely a couple of times
insane.
where we would be just in a review and we're like, oh, like, and 10 minutes would go by and we're like, oh crap, we had a meeting, we were just playing now.
They've already showed the hammer, and the hammers actually have their own light source. So
just because
every time you cast a hammer, it sends out like light around you, which is pretty cool.
That just works, but once again, it was tricky to get that going.
So with multiplayer, are there going to be any changes, any differences in there from PvP to trading to how players interact? You know, units blocking each other. I mean, all sorts of stuff.
So with multiplayer, we want to keep all the features you've known and loved there. So PvP will still be there, down to like opening the party window and engaging hostility. Trading is still going to function the same as you know. You know, you can go into
they
games,
haven't shown
trade items or talk in chat channels and things like that. Areas of improvement, though,
what was
like I said, going back to my mentioning of
lightning attack?
Improvements to the dominant lobby. So
for
we're trying to look at some
Amazons.
things like improving like how you browse
charged attack or something. I can't remember.
Games. Like so, when
but
you're
I'm very interested to see how that would look. That looks so cool.
Typing passwords and things like that. That's the kind of area we're trying to see how we could smooth out in ways like making sure you can browse normal games, nightmare games, and hell games, even though you've graduated to the higher difficulty. I'm sure you've known that.
There's nothing worse than accidentally killing Bale in Nightmare when you're trying to do Nightmare Bale runs and you're like, I can't find any of the games anymore for Nightmare Bale runs.
But you can if you log into a separate character.
Right, you go to a separate character and then look at it.
That was kind of our logic, right? Since there are workarounds there, that made it easier for us to make the decision of allowing some of those things. Another change is also looking into reducing ladder seasons overall. So right now, ladder seasons in Diablo 2 are 6 months, and we're looking at reducing that as well to help have more engagement and kind of drive.
It
more
should make ladders
too,
like 2 months, I think.
Is a long time, and we're looking into like,
maybe 3.
If we make it shorter, we could probably have greater beats throughout the year, as well as seeing people strive harder for getting like that to that level 99, right?
So is there going to be any
dude,
reward?
I'm so glad that I heard Blizzard have signed these guys on, because I think there's going to be some cool shit coming with the ladders.
You're 99 on that leaderboard, and I mean that's a giant reward in itself. But I don't know if there's any other piece go up on the Battle.net website or something.
We're not looking into adding anything beyond what the game really did, but in some ways there will be some things that kind of come out of.
Was there ladder items in D2?
We have the ladder, the leaderboard, right, where you can see each class going to level 99. There are easier ways to.
Was that only in? I don't think there was. Wait, was there ladder items?
To saving that, right?
So the room words, yeah. So that's what I think they'll do. That's what will be the drive. Like each season, maybe new ladder words. The rune words will come out, and that will be the reason to go in there. You know what I mean?
In the Legacy, if you look in the past.
I mean, I think that would be cool enough. Just anything to keep it there as like a forever.
I think they got rid of the auto delete on Diablo 2 already.
Because I know a lot of people like to go and reflect kind of on their old characters. And
I think they changed it to like 365 days.
Character expiration will not be a thing anymore, by the way. Due to modern Battle.net integrations, we do not have to. You will not have to worry about refreshing your character, so they will stay with you.
Awesome. Will there be anything different with like character names then, if that's the case?
Oh, yeah. So this was one that we talked about for a very, very long time. So because we are moving to global servers and we have
we can't have custom names.
We will allow duplicate names because with everyone being in the same thing across all consoles and all platforms and other things like that, you would very quickly bump into duplicates like day one. And so we are allowing duplicate
so you're
names.
telling
However,
me I don't have to run into somebody called XX_ZZ_Diablo_player_Bob?
So that you are still unique. But this also allows us to for people to play the game quicker, because we can autofill in your name, other things like that.
Rob touched on it a little bit, but another mention there was going to global servers.
You'll still run into that guy because he used it somewhere else?
This is a new thing we're doing.
Oh, there is cross-platform. Oh my god, dude.
US West, US East, Asia regions.
But are they going to allow PvP ganking is the real question.
Like, being on separated servers. So now
That's
for
the
push
real
for a
question,
global,
boys.
Play with Diablo 2, you can now be able to join across people around the world.
I think that's a fantastic change. That's always been one of the like saddest parts is like they're on EU and I'm on, you know, US East and then my other friend's on US West and it's like, how do we get us all together?
What
you
about
know?
us
Like,
in Australia?
Somebody has to make a sacrifice there. And so this is...
We were the
this is a really positive
sacrifices.
change. So far you guys are killing it. I'm loving all, I mean, absolutely. I just want to say like, I'm loving all of the changes and all of the decisions that have been made. It feels like you're really respecting the integrity of the game, but
just wait till they talk about
really
PvP.
bringing in a lot of that quality of life because Diablo 2 just had some of those pain points like muling and separate servers and all of that. So I just want to throw that out there really quick.
Talk
There's
about
a lot
PvP,
of love
please.
and care going on into this. Like,
Please tell me.
We're very
Please.
passionate about Diablo 2, you know. I can even give you a little anecdote of when I started on the team.
They said that? When the fuck did they say that?
I was asking around too. Naturally, as a designer, I want to know as much as possible about this game in order to make good decisions on a remaster. So,
Bro, if we can flag
I asked
hostile
around,
like it used to be,
what kind of files and leftover archives do we have from before?
Oh, when I was
Blizzard
talking to
North?
Baba, okay.
And I was told, like, I was given some, and like this, I was told that was it, which I quickly disbelieved because I like to just do my own little digging arounds to find out things. So I dug around a lot in a lot of archives, and I looked around in different teams as well, because naturally a game from 20 years ago, people have moved on different teams. And
dude, Tyrael
like,
with
where has
those
data
big
moved around
giant
across our other games,
wavy
across
wings was so
Blizzard.
sick.
So
it looks so
it was,
cool.
It was within
especially
folders
in the
within
videos.
folders, I like to say, that I found a lot of old source files from Diablo 2. A lot of things, like within folders of saying stuff we should archive. And there was a lot of stuff to archive indeed, because there were a lot of things, like we're talking like model source files, old tools that Blizzard North used to create like the sprites and things like that. All these things I spent months and months organizing and communicate that out to the team and help getting
Goofy
Blizzard
Diablo
library
looks...
team and other people to help out too, to help share as much information as possible. Which
yeah,
helps
Meth
a lot
runs, mate, Andy
with
runs,
when
whatever.
We're adapting some of these
What was
models
the,
and whatnot, and making new art out of it, because you know sometimes those
what was
pixels
the
aren't good enough, and if you have some kind
the
of source
zombie
model to look at, if
skeleton-y
we have
boss
it,
in Act
now we
5?
can make even closer
You go to the
decisions.
On that day
the
when he found
waypoint,
that,
you could
I
go
think
straight
that really
to him.
helped
He
me
was good to
greatly.
farm
Like,
till they
we
nerfed
sent
him.
all of that imagery.
They nerfed the
even
shit
the
out of it,
models, I
though.
think we sent over to the outsource teams and
Hindleskin,
different
yeah,
art
that's it.
teams.
He used to drop way
which
good
they
shit.
used as like a
I think he could
stepping
actually
stone.
drop the Crown
The
of Ages.
only piece of art we actually reused,
But they
one
nerfed
to
the
one,
shit out of him.
Were Tyrael's wings. So we actually took the Tyrael wings from the old Max file, and then just repurposed that for ours. Like we did very little work, very little modernization of that. We just made it work. But yeah, we did follow a lot of the rules that the old game actually used. For like another example is the succubus, in which I think the old Blizzard North model, they reused the assassin mesh for the body, and we did the same thing. We use our assassin mesh for the succubus.
Yeah, a lot of fun discoveries that we're actually kind of making the same decisions on in interesting
Damn,
ways.
okay.
Another example too, like, is because we found a lot of stuff. There's a lot of old texture files for some environments on the game. So another example is like the walls you see in the Act 2 tombs with those kinds of like paintings on them. Are the same textures we're using, because we found the source files for
Man, that looks
Any
cool as fuck.
symbology we have questions on, we always like jump into that archive, try to find some kind of source or reference.
You
or
wonder if they have
something,
plans to
and
prevent
we just
botting?
reuse
Oh,
it
the
as
same
much
as they
possible.
would in
We want
Diablo
this to be
3 or
as true
Diablo
as
4.
possible.
That could even carry over to the cinematics too, you know, like
I think the bigger issue with Diablo was honestly
Like
duping.
Tal Rosh's tomb
Bots
with
are
veil in front of it, and there's all
probably a
those
lot
runes going
easier
on
to
behind
detect
them.
these
Finding
days, but
sources like that to try to match as much as
duping
possible
was the biggest
was a goal.
problem, in all
I'm
honesty.
glad to say we did find those kinds of things, and they're matching it very well. So
But
it's helping
botting
our
will be the
cinematics
next
too.
step
There was
of
even concepts we
pain.
repurposed. Like we found a couple concepts that were amazing from 20 years ago. The Bloodhawk and the Bloodhawk Nest, and we used that completely to rebuild our new asset.
I mean, that's fascinating. I feel like I could just sit here for hours and hours,
Map
days,
pack?
if you guys talk
Nah,
through
you don't
every
need
single
map pack.
thing you found in the source files.
I could too. I'm still organizing it to this day. I still could find something that could work out. Because I put it, I'm very meticulous with this stuff because I love it so much. You know, I'm putting like categorizing everything. Like this is everything I found on War Eve. This is everything I found on the Greater Mummy Monster or Bale or something. And then if Chris comes to me and needs help with like some kind of way of identifying what parts of the creatures are or something, I even go through lengths of like seeing if I could open up those models and actually re-rendering them out in a way that we could actually see it in higher detail and like, you know, see like what, like, oh, the Greater Mummy is showing like part of his bone on his knee, so we should try to match that or something like that. And there's a lot of interesting stories and references that we actually used to create the new art by re-rendering models out to see everything.
Yeah, it was literally like video game archaeology. And even learning how parts of D1 were made.
I'm such a nerd.
Parts of the code that were commented out. Totally geek out on just all of the, you know, because it's a game that we all kind of grew up in, and a lot of us got into the games industry because of these types of games, and this game in particular, right? Like, and so it's almost like we're treating it like a classic car, right? Like, okay, it probably shouldn't run on leaded gas anymore, but you really can't change it, right? You just got to make it, you know, good enough, even better, you know, than they remember, and good for another 20 years.
Yeah, and even like, you know, mention of Diablo 1 is very key too. Like we look at Diablo 1 as well because naturally this.
I think they're testing
especially within the time span
poker in the server soon. So
like Diablo 1, you know, was 1996 and Diablo 2 2000. A lot of things carried over throughout development. So going back to see Diablo 1 and what it's like also helped us make decisions, even some of the arts too, because like we discovered certain things we didn't even realize before until later down the line. Like an example is in the Chaos Sanctuary, you see a lot of statues with these black knights, and those are actually the same Chaos Knights you see in Diablo 1. So like sometimes some of the things I find even source files from Diablo 1 were useful for us for reference, so we can make the new statues.
That looks so cool, dude.
Even the Sorcerer and the Act 3 Hireling shared very similar models. Like it was just an addition helmet or a little bit of detail on the chest, but that was really the difference.
You guys need to do a just like developer archaeology discussion at some point where you just sit down and talk through all of this, because this is like the most fascinating stuff I've heard. I mean, I've played so much Diablo 2 that I know so many intricacies of the game, but like when there's like more to be discovered, it's like, oh man, I'm like itching to know. So I would love to just listen.
The funny thing is, like, you know, going back to our like core philosophies on the game, like, you know, we wanted to keep discovery and the mystery and stuff. Because you keep discovering things all the time when you play Diablo 2, like all these little hidden rules and informations.
We're going back to 30 viewers by the end of your chat.
Through development as well. Like we find
we're going down to 30 viewer ends for sure.
Documents, models, things like that were really fascinating to see like how they were made, and I learned something new every day on the projects.
One thing, shifting back to the online play here, I know there's definitely going to be questions around security. How are we handling duping? How are we handling bots? How are we handling, you know, just anything around that, realm downs, and all of the disconnects and all of that good stuff that we deal with online? What's being taken, or what actions being taken there?
So moving over to modern BattleNet helps us with a lot of those types of things. To say it's, you know, Loctite, I wouldn't dare do that. That's like throwing a gauntlet down to the community to try to break it. But all of that should be far more secure now. Now, we do still allow you to play offline, right? You will need to authenticate that your copy is legit, but after that, you won't be bothered. And so there's a reason why we leave those characters quarantined away from online.
I mean, yeah, we have a server team working on it, and these are some of their efforts, right? We want to stop the bots, stop duping as much as possible. There's a lot of strives happening in the back end of things.
Just stop duping. You'll never stop the bots.
I'm excited to play this game, and
just
I'm
get
sure
rid of the
a lot of other
boys,
people are really excited. How can we sign up for this closed beta, and when will this game be coming out?
Actually, we will be doing a technical alpha, and you can sign up on our webpage today.
Oh man, it looks
for future
satisfying,
waves
boys.
of invites. As for the game itself, it will be releasing 2021.
It's so trippy watching this in high FPS.
Thank you to the remastering team right here. I absolutely am blown away by how much
by the sound of it, I feel like they're gonna have
slush
slush players for sure.
Game and just into Diablo 2. I've loved Diablo 2 for 20 years.
You know, if you can like declare hostile, they're gonna have that
could
party
get better.
screen in general.
But I think you guys are respecting the integrity.
So I'd say it's gonna be
while
very similar.
Upgrading and adding and improving, and I think this is going to overall just better the game. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you having me on and for all of the hard work you've done.
Awesome, thank you. I mean, your praise means the world to us. I mean, you and people like you who keep the game going for 20 years. Like, that's, if you guys didn't do that, this might not be happening, right? We see the passion in what you do, in what your colleagues do. Like, so thank you even more. And thanks for coming to do this. This was fun.
All right, so I was just repeating the same old video. Diablo looks cool though. Oh yeah.
Not even death can save you from me.
Damn, the sound's gonna be there too, baby. All right, I guess there's no other cool shit that we need to worry about with Diablo chat.
You know, the original Diablo 2 is why I'm here at Blizzard today. One of my greatest gaming memories was when my brother and I played for 3 straight days to finish the entire D2 and expansion campaign.
Release is just like sometime in 2021.
Not only was it a special moment with my older brother,
by the look of it, like,
but ignited a passion with.
And by the sound of it, like, I mean, the engine itself is not really changing. So I think a lot of the time would just be like the overhaul of graphics and stuff. So depending on how long they've worked on it for, and I've heard about leaks of a D2 remaster for a while. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me whenever it comes out at this point. But you know, there's also the Corona, so it's probably something that they'll just drop when it's like, you know,
watching
good
as
for
we
money.
close out day 1 of BlizzConline.
But there's no way they're gonna be stupid enough to I don't know what the fuck this is shit. I ain't looking at this, boys. There's no way they're gonna be dumb enough to drop this. And what else did they say that was coming this year? BC. There's no way they're gonna drop them at similar times. One will have to be the first half, and one will have to be the last half. And knowing how I don't know if there's meant to be a Diablo a WoW X pack this year, but I don't think there is. I'd imagine BC would probably be closer to end of year. Don't they usually do it like Octoberish or something like that with the X packs? So if they want that to boom, I'd imagine they'll probably do it at a similar time, and then they'd have the updates ready for the holidays and shit. Whereas Diablo not really having the, if it's coming with the expansion already, I don't think they'd have the same ideas, I guess, for that and how it would release. But they'd be dumb to release them at the same time, right? Surely. I still remember playing Diablo 2 and saying, like, I'm not going to play Warcraft, it's for virgins. But the reality was I was on dial-up and I couldn't afford it. And then I got addicted. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm definitely hyped for it. Yo, this year, that game alone, TBC as well. I couldn't get into vanilla, but at least with BC, there's arena to fall back on when you're bored shitless. So I think for me that will make it a little more entertaining. So this year in gaming actually sounds pretty good for the future. We got some games we can really sink time into, and I haven't felt like that in years really. So I'm liking the idea of it. Do you know if Charles is streaming today? Because he didn't say anything about it tomorrow. I got no idea, my dude. I'd check out his Twitter. I got no idea, man. I mean, it looks like he's been enjoying it, so I don't know where he's scheduled days off and stuff, but that's something you probably need to ask Some himself. Classic WoW turned into a joke. Just give me Diablo 2. I mean, I think Classic WoW was a good idea. But I don't think it's necessarily the gameplay that was what was so good about it. It was just the systems in place that made it not so casual and easy to grind out, I guess. Well, not easy to grind out, but like I feel like in Classic you could grind non-stop and you could be progressing in something, whereas with you know, the newer ones, it's not quite like that. It's not quite the same. But also flying mounts and shit, you know, looking for group and stuff, all that sort of stuff I think took a, and also the meshed in servers together, I feel like also was a killer for me. I don't know what it was, just like knowing everybody in your server and the core group of it was I don't know, it was cool. You know, it felt like a little community rather than not really knowing anybody. Plus with all transmorgs and all that sort of shit, dude, I hate all that shit. I want to see the big dicks with their, you know, cool shoulders and their fucking sick weapons and their cool mounts. When you walk past them and go, oh, that guy's good at the fucking game. That guy looks sick, dude. That's what I want to see. Or I can tell which one the virgins are. You know what I mean? Either way, chat, I don't think I'm going to jump onto RP after this. I might just go chill out for a little bit, have lunch, and then maybe do a night stream. We'll see how we go. We're already, you know, almost 5 hours deep, so and I haven't eaten, so I might as well just go eat, chill out for a little bit, and then jump back in. But either way, dudes, appreciate you chilling when I'm just watching garbage. So thanks for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of the weekend, guys. And take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye, dudes. Bye. Bye. Bye.